The throw. Oh, what a turnabout. Touchdown. The 5, touchdown. Oh, my. And here in rainy Tennessee, Nashville, it'll be the AFC Eastern champions again. New England, they've won it 4 straight years, 5 of the last 6 against the Titans. Resuscitated with their brilliant young quarterback Vince Young. And you can experience the upcoming playoffs and today's doubleheader on CBS, brought to you in high definition by Sony. Patriots, Titans, kickoff coming up.
CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
So the year 2006 ends here in Tennessee for the New England Patriots. And the weather could well be a factor. The temperature very warm. Look at this for the last day of the year, 65 degrees. Winds out of the south bringing the rain, and we expect showers throughout. It's been raining for the last couple of hours, and it could impact because of the field condition. There are spots that are very slick and could be a problem for both punters and field goal kickers. Here's Rob Baronis. Remember, he kicked a 60-yard field goal, 4th longest ever earlier this year in one of the dramatic wins. He sends it toward Ellis Hobbs. It skips into the end zone, and the Patriots will take it at the 20 on the touchback. Tom Brady and Daniel Graham from the 20-yard line. Sold out here in Nashville. Brady to throw on first down. A screen to the left to Dillon. 20 and to the 25, and a pickup of about 6 to the 26 and out of bounds against the Titans. 3 return touchdowns are in the secondary. On second down, Dillon tripped up in the backfield, falls forward to the 27. Albert Haynesworth, who served a 5-game penalty earlier in the year. Big guy from Tennessee makes the tackle.
Well, most people in this league, though, will tell you, Dick, when that big guy decides, when Albert says, I'm going to play, he can't be blocked. He wasn't blocked on the first play on the screen. He knocked down Brady and got in real quick and just completely penetrated and busted up that Patriots offense, going right through Logan Mankins on the second play.
Rain falling, and 3rd down 3. Heath Evans now in the backfield with Brady. Shotgun, spread formation. Very effective against Jacksonville in the win last week. Troy Brown, his favorite target, in motion to the inside, looking for Brown. Then he throws outside, incomplete. Heath Evans covered by Keith Bullock. And so 3 and out for Brady and the Patriots. Bullock, a star linebacker. Many felt he should have been one of those going to Honolulu. No Tennessee player to the Pro Bowl, and only one, shockingly, for the New England Patriots, Richard Seymour.
And Brady sort of started out in the game like he was in warm-ups. He was just a little bit off. I don't know if that right shoulder's a little sore from that spear last week, but he's just not quite as sharp right now.
Pac-Man Jones with a couple of punt return touchdowns in his 2nd season. Here's the kick by Todd Sauerbrunn, the 3rd punter of the year used by New England. Jones weaving his way to the 30. Spins out to the 35 and all the way to the 40, and that gets them juiced up here in Nashville. Larry Izzo with the tackle, and Adam Pac-Man Jones will start the Titans at their own 40-yard line. Tennessee, and the rookie Ahmad Hall at fullback, Jones and Bennett the wideouts, on Bo Scaife back at tight end after missing a couple of games. And on first down, it's Henry, and he plows forward for about 5 into the center of that Patriot defense. One core of Harrison, Hawkins, and Hobbs. 2nd and 5. Young's first throw into the flat, and it's complete to Drew Bennett. The lanky receiver kicks out of a tackle, down the sidelines and out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. Bennett, who had not caught a pass last week, and in fact the last 2 weeks, the leading receiver with 42 on the year, and he turns a short gain into a nice one, Randy.
Well, Jake, and Bill Belichick said this is a team that has some very hard to tackle players. Henry, Adam Jones, Vince Young. Bennett wasn't on the list. In fact, Bennett hasn't caught a pass in 2 games. He doesn't even know what it's like to run with the ball lately, but the ex-quarterback out of UCLA has got the ability to get it and go, and early bad tackling on their side of the ball by the Pats.
27-yard gain, first down. Here's Travis Henry, one of those men that Belichick cited as being so tough to tackle, and finally the whistle blows the play dead after a gain of a yard or 2. Richard Seymour and Roosevelt Colvin team up on the tackle.
Yeah, what makes this offense so good about running is that guys up front, and no one embodies the ability to run the ball for Tennessee better than obviously Henry. But you look up front, Kevin Mawai has done an amazing job coming in here as a veteran influence, really teaching and bringing his intensity. And you talk to guys, and they'll call Kevin dirty, and they'll call Kevin about hitting
Mr. Hold,
about after the whistle. But I tell you, he's brought an intensity and a professionalism to this line they didn't have before.
2nd down and 9. Henry the tailback. Here comes Banacane, but the handoff is to Henry. Breaks a tackle and fights his way to the 25. A couple of yards. It'll bring up 3rd and long.
You saw how tough to tackle Henry is, and he is basically a ball of muscle. But let's take a look real quick at Kevin Mawai inside. You see how far off right is the nose tackle off the ball. Kevin Mawai is able to get his hands on him, and he's a veteran. And if a veteran can get his hands on you, you know, he might not be able to move you a whole long distance, but you aren't going to get to the ball.
Spoken by a man who knows the business well. 3rd down and 7.
It's having a good grasp of your technique.
You did have it. On 3rd and 7, Young. Is he going to scramble for yardage? Now he throws, has a man wide open. Inside the 10 is Bobby Wade. 1st and goal for the Titans.
You know, one thing you don't appreciate, I think, until you see Vince Young, if you're a defensive player, is how strong he is, especially in his lower body. 6'5", about 240 pounds, and Tully Bantakane can't quite get there, and you don't just reach out and grab this young man and stop him. Excellent job, and he's got that strong flick of an arm on those short patterns.
And look who Jeff Fisher just sent in to this offensive set, Pac-Man Jones, and he's lined up as the slot to the left.
Uses him like a returner, wants to get him out in the air and flip him the ball.
No, 1st down just inside the 10. Young throws almost intercepted. Mike Vrabel had his hands on the ball.
He looked like he wasn't allowed to catch it. He was surprised.
That's right. Too hot.
He's surprised the ball was at him. It's almost like you're in practice and you're not, you know, if you're a Patriot and you're saying, well, you're not allowed to intercept Brady's ball. Well, watch when Vince Young puts it over there. He kind of puts his hands out and pulls him back. Like, oh, where'd it go?
He has 3 interceptions this year, 10 in his career, Vrabel, who so much a part of this New England defense that makes the big plays, especially right in here, goal to go.
Might be the MVP of this defense, moving in from inside to outside and then back inside the season after Sayal's injury.
On 2nd and goal. And contact before the snap. Ed Hockley's first call.
False start offense, number 45. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Fullback Ahmad Hall.
See Ed Hockley, you can tell it's raining, his shirt shrunk.
It always seems to be tight, though.
Isn't that amazing? I don't have that problem. I got the Dunlap working. I don't wear shirts that tight.
He's been in the gymnasium. That's
good for him.
New England's defense allowing just 2 touchdowns in the first quarter all season. Now 2nd and much longer 2nd and goal from the 14. And Henry up the middle. And he's dumped at the 6-yard line. And the last man to deny the touchdown was James Sanders, the 2nd-year safety from Fresno State.
And that's how you tackle Henry when he's open. Excellent blocking up front. Mawai and company just get enough, but Sanders comes in and just takes his legs out from underneath Henry. And if you try to hit a running back like Henry high, you are out of luck. He is going to absolutely shed you. That was perfect tackle by Sanders.
3rd and goal now from the 7. Henry the tailback. Tight formation. 2 tight ends. Young. Caught by the angle. Look at that throw. Touchdown. I can't believe it. No, they say they hit the ground. Incomplete for Ben Hartsock, the backup tight end. But what a throw! That actually had a chance to be a touchdown.
You throw a ball when you're facing somebody. You sling it in that general direction when you do that.
Hook shot.
But it actually had a little rotation on it. He had a chance to catch it. Looks like that ball hit the ground, though, as he was catching it. Is that amazing?
Look at this.
Vrabel's got him by the legs, Dick. And there is contact with the ground, though. And anytime an official sees that ball hit it, he's going to call it incomplete.
But what an effort. Here's Young being hog-tied, round around the ankles, couldn't move his feet, and Jeff Fisher gets a round of applause as he fires the red flag on the challenge.
Well, you have any questions why this city is absolutely mad about Vince Young? I think it's got a chance of being reversed, but my guess is the ball hit the ground.
It hit the ground.
This city's nuts about this guy because of his ability to make plays, early or late.
So while they check the challenge, we're going to break for these words. We're back in Nashville, and the review announcement now from Ed Hockley. Not much suspense here.
When a receiver catches a pass going to the ground, he's required to maintain control of the ball when he hits the ground. This receiver lost the ball as he hit the ground. Therefore, the pass is incomplete by rule. Tennessee is charged with their first timeout.
The fans knew from the very start of the explanation, and they get it over with. No good.
Hey, but how perfect was the explanation? He's required to have control after he hits the ground. That's not control. The ball's moving. It's squirting.
No question.
Now is control, but the ball hits the ground. It's very, very simple and a perfect explanation by Ed Hockley.
Rob Baronis, a short field goal, 25-yard attempt. And it's stronger footing at this end of the stadium. And the wind is helping kickers, and that easily punched through. And Tennessee's first possession leads to a field goal advantage. Welcome back. 3-0 Tennessee. Drew Bennett's catch of 27 yards actually key to that drive that culminated with a 25-yard field goal by kicker Baronis.
How do you like this bunch for the kickoff, Dick? Alan Lowry, the special teams coach, has always been an innovative guy.
And then that way you can't pick up the best gunners on defense until the last minute. Baronis sends it fairly short down to Hobbs at the 9. 20. Good speed to the 30. And the return out to the 34-yard line. For Ellis Hobbs, played his college ball at Iowa State. Brady in the offense. Back on sportsline.com. Corey Dillon in the backfield. First down Patriots at the 34. Brady to throw. Slips. There's a first indication of the conditions. His throw incomplete. Kelvin Kite, the receiver, on the far sidelines, and we have our first update. Let's go to New York and James Brown.
Hey, Dick and Randy, take a look at the play. Well, you know what?
Well, I guess we didn't go to James Brown, but we will shortly.
Brings up second down.
Illegal motion apparently by the Patriots, and is declined because the pass was incomplete. So second down and 10, and there you see the divot raised as Brady set to throw, and that's going to be a problem center of the field, especially inside the 20-yard lines at both ends. And there's a false start on the right side of the Patriot line.
Well, early on, you
Before the
can't
ball
play
is
halfway.
snapped, false start, offense, number 82, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Tight end Daniel Graham. Now we'll go to James Brown.
Hey, Dick and Randy, know the false start was on me. But anyway, take a look here. Kansas City's Bernard Pollard. Look at this play, fellas. Blocks the punt, turns around, recognizes where the ball is, beats the player to the ball, recovers for the TD. Outstanding play. 7-0 KC over Jacksonville. Back to Dick and Randy.
All right, JB, and of course that's a game of interest to these fans here for the Tennessee Titans, because that's one of the three teams, Kansas City, that needs to win, and they need to win to entertain continuing hopes. So here's Corey Dillon. He's carrying the hopes of New England with a big win today, all the way to the 30, still to the 20, and they finally catch him at the 18-yard line, and the big man with his longest run of the season. Chris Hope finally put the saddle on him and rode him down inside the Tennessee 20-yard line.
This is all about the inside three of the Patriots offensive line breaking out on the screen. They're one of the better screening teams in the league, but you have Mankins, you have Copen, you know, you've got Neal, and you've got usually Falk running the ball, but now he's inactive, and it's a great job by Corey Dillon picking his way through, but it's a timing play, and no one in this league does it better than this offense.
Only 13 catches all season, and that his longest, 52 yards. First down at the 18. Lawrence Maroney, the rookie from Minnesota. And he puts the dash and speed into that backfield, and Dillon, of course, the workhorse with his power running. Give Robert Smith credit for the tackle in the center of the Tennessee defense.
Yeah, Maroney, you know, he's been going back and forth with Corey Dillon. Corey had a few issues health-wise during the season, and then Maroney here lately has had the rib cartilage that kept him out of a couple games, but Maroney is the game breaker. Now, if Maroney has that screen pass, he might be able to run to the end zone and back in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, agreed. Keith Evans in the backfield, shotgun. Brady on 2nd down and 7. Look at the stack on the left side with a rookie tight end David Thomas to the right. And he's looking for Thomas but can't find him. The sack registered by Tony Brown, the second-year tackle from Memphis.
Very interesting as Tom Brady is trying to go back to throw. The fact that all his receivers are basically on the perimeters. Look on the outside of the field as this play forms. They're all out there in that area I'm drawing. There's no one really in the middle. And the guys that are out there are all being covered. Everybody's outside. Everything's spread out to the sidelines. And Brady's got nowhere to dump it.
And Brown, who had just a half a sack all year, gets a full one on that play. 3rd down and a dozen for Brady. Trailing 3-0. 7 minutes left, opening quarter. Listen to this crowd. Just does get the snap in time. Into the flat to Evans, complete. Spins away, tackled forward to the 10-yard line, close to a first down. Going to be shy, it appears, by a yard. All right, Randy, time for your crosstalk.
Ah, what a shot. How about our guys in the truck? You got to love that. Yeah, be prepared for the playoffs. That means momentum. That means playing well and being sharp, and it's something they've got to work on right now. And for the Tennessee Titans, I know they play some good defense. I know occasionally they also run the ball pretty good, but it's about VY. It's about Vince Young.
Nice little old lang sign to go with this decision by Bill Belichick, who likes going on 4th down, and good reason why. Right there, 15 out of 19. That's the best in the NFL. 4th down conversions.
But it's 4th and real short, Dick. You know, if you're the defense for Tennessee, if the scrimmage, I would look for them to try to make them jump, and if they won't jump, then call it, then get the timeout, then kick a field goal.
Brady wants to huddle up with Belichick. And we'll come back as in that time break they measured, and it was almost a full yard on 4th down, so Belichick has elected to go for the short field goal. Treacherous conditions. Gostkowski, the rookie from Memphis, sends it up and bangs it through. And you could see he was very ginger in his approach to making that kick. We're tied at 3, first quarter. Patriots and Titans have traded short field goals for a 3 tie. 6 minutes left in the opening quarter, and Steve Gostkowski to kick it off to Adam Bernard Pac-Man Jones. That big key play by Corey Dillon. 52 yards running, and the big man can still run away from people, can't he?
Especially when he gets that kind of blocking down the field.
High end over end into the wind. Will Pac-Man take it out? Yes, from 3 yards deep. Can't get outside and wrestle down shy of the 20-yard line. Meanwhile, action elsewhere. Let's go right back to New York and JB.
Hey, Dick and Randy, you know if the Jets win, they're in the postseason, capping an 8-play, 56-yard drive. Pennington hooks up with the tight end Chris Baker. That score came off of a turnover. 7-0 Jets. Back to Dick and Randy.
All right, thanks, JB. And, of course, on the losing end early, the Oakland Raiders, they have only 2 wins all year, as do the Detroit Lions, as they're on their own fight for the #1 draft pick. Currently head-to-head, the Lions have the advantage. That's Travis Henry trying the defensive left side of the Patriot line, and nothing there but big Ty Warren. So you can get the latest scores, stats, and highlights from around the league on your mobile phone. You can access it all by going to NFL.com and clicking on NFL.com.
You know, Ty Warren, Dick, is one of those guys you like to see good things happen to because of the way he works. You know, Pepper Johnson's his line coach. He worked all offseason on Wednesdays studying tape of himself from last year, seeing where he could get better.
Especially in the pass rush. He knows, he says, that I'm good against the run, and that's Henry trying to run against that. Oh, here we go. Some yellow flags, and
Mawai's involved.
Brewski and Mike Wright and Kevin Mawai for Tennessee.
Well, he really has brought the attitude. I mean, they've got a Hall of Fame offensive line coach here in Mike Munchak, but Kevin Mawai in his 13th year has taught these young guys that it's okay to push the other guys. You know, they do call you offensive players. You can be offensive.
After the play was over, a personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 60. Half the distance to the goal. Third down.
So Mawai's attitude of perhaps inspiring left guard Jacob Bell, who was ticketed for the penalty.
There's Jacob Bell right there. And it was Mawai that came in and took the big shot. Jacob Bell got the rap, and Mawai got the deed.
And Patriots didn't like that at all, and we knew coming in that they had their eyes on Mawai. In fact, Rodney Harrison, in our visit last night, said, "Oh, you mean Mr. Hold?" And they call me the dirtiest player. Said Harrison, how about Mawai?
Hey, but if you stand around a pile, or if you just sort of relax around Kevin Mawai, he will hit you. And that's not a bad thing, in my opinion. That's playing football. That's what you want if you're an offensive player.
That's what they pay him for. Out of the shotgun, the draw play to Travis Henry, weaving his way out to the 20. Finds some running room. Out to the 30, and he got a first down. They had him stopped after a couple of yards. Let's see if it counts. Flag down. James Sanders finally with the tackle. And Vince Young walking back toward his goal line may be an obvious cue.
Well, early on, this defense is having some issues tackling. They did last week against Maurice Jones-Drew and the Jaguars.
Holding, offense number 60. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat second down.
Well, they got their eye on Jacob Bell. They called it on Bell again, but last time it might have been Mawai.
Oh, Jacob Bell lining up at the left guard spot. He's going to end up probably on a linebacker with this formation. He gets a hold of, well, it's a yank and it's a tug, and it's looked at from behind. You know Ed Hockley gets him pulling. If you see 60 right there, see the yank across the chest on Green's jersey, 97.
And that, of course, opened the hole and accounted for the running room for Henry. Lendell White makes his first appearance, the rookie from Southern California. He's in the backfield with Young, end zone. He's in trouble and just does get it away. That could have been a safety. And coming up from the secondary is Rodney Harrison. He can blitz as well as anyone. One of the all-time best, not only in intercepting the ball, but sacking the quarterback.
Well, see, he gets on Vince Young. Vince Young throws it, and only one guy falls down. Guess which one?
Harrison, in history, the first to have 25 career sacks and 30 career interceptions. A signature honor for the veteran. Played his ball at Western Illinois.
Well, he'll give Vince Young some looks he has never seen. I guarantee you this Patriot defense will give him some exotic things to look at.
Craig Hendricks, first punt very high. Fair catch at the 47 by Troy Brown. And the veteran, with that fair catch, gives Brady and company good field position when we come back.
The Titans win. Free coffee on Monday.
Before the game, defensive leader Keith Bullock.
What we do right here today, and what we gonna do for 3 hours is let these cats don't want to play, dog. They don't want to play. 39 defense, they got broke ribs. 39 got broke ribs. He's not gonna finish the game. I'll finish y'all do what y'all do. Let's go. But at the end of the day, we gonna win as a team. We gonna dominate as a team. Titans on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey, this is our house. This is our house, yo.
Keith Bullock, a great player out of Syracuse. 29. There's no 30-year-old player on the entire defense for this Titan team. Here's Maroney, one of the players he talked about, saying that he's got bad ribs, doesn't really want to run, and they felt that the team wouldn't play hard from New England because they've already clinched their playoff spot.
Well, as you see this rain come down, and it isn't sideways rain like you see in a lot of places. This is straight down, big old drops kind of rain, and that's going to put a huge premium on the running game. And it's also going to put a huge premium on footing if you're a defender, because it's only going to take one slip, and a guy like Lawrence Maroney is waiting for somebody to slip. And when they do, he can go the distance.
Got 8 yards on first down. Brady underneath to Troy Brown, and he's tackled immediately, not until he had picked up the first down at the 39. Lamont Thompson made the tackle. He can kind of match up with Maroney. I think he wins in the hair call.
Oh, he's got him by about a foot.
That's a mop, isn't it? I'm jealous. I mean, hey. Okay. Why is it somebody gets all that and I get so little?
You wouldn't have quite the same look, though.
Follicle deprived.
It'll be your own version of oh my.
Handoff to Kite on the reverse end around, and he's inside the 30 and down to the 26, 25-yard line. Kelvin Kite just activated a couple of weeks ago from Florida. Vanden Bosch trailed the play and made the tackle, but not until a sizable gain on first down of about 8 more.
You got a defense that wants to be aggressive. What do? Well, they've run screens, they've run draws, they're trying to do the things that keep them off balance. And Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator, right now have the Titans on their heels a little bit.
2nd and 2, and Corey Dillon returns to the backfield. And it's Dillon, runs into his own blocker, and runs over a couple of Titans down to the 22 and a first down. Well, last week when New England visited Jacksonville, here's the hit coming up that put a scare into Patriot fans. Tom Brady struck hard by Jacksonville linebacker Clint Ingram in the 4th quarter. He told us last night in his professional career he's never felt more pain than on that hit.
That was a head-down spear job by Clint Ingram.
First down, Brady and the Patriots, 3-all. And it's Dillon. Big hole, 10. Dillon at the 5. Dillon to the goal line. Touchdown. He doesn't appear to be running that fast, but no one could catch him again. David Thornton, the linebacker, trailing all the way, couldn't get his mitts on him until Dillon was at the goal line and into the end zone.
Neil, Kazir, and Graham do a nice job, as does Thomas, 86, the young rookie out of Texas. But look at that, Heath Evans gets that nice block into the mug of the DB there, and that's just good physical football. And that's defenders being blocking dummies. No one got off a block. No one got close to getting off a block.
21 yards on the run by Dillon, his 38th touchdown as a Patriot in just 43 games. How productive he's been since migrating from Cincinnati. Here's Gostkowski to try the extra point. Of course, Adam Vinatieri, the longtime fixture at that position in Patriots Super Bowl years. Gostkowski taking over this season. Oh, and it's blocked. And perhaps knowing that he had trouble in practice, Gostkowski took a little more time, being careful not to slip, and that allowed, maybe it was Tony Brown or a couple of hands in there to flat it away.
Right up there in the middle. It's chop, chop, pop. And the chop, chop works out fine, but the pop part with Albert Hainsworth and Tony Brown in the middle doesn't work out.
It was Tony Brown with a block, but Dillon has given the Patriots. Oh, Tony Brown telling his teammates how he got the job done, reaching high to deny the extra point. Corey Dillon, meanwhile, with his 81st rushing touchdown in his outstanding career. 47-yard drive in just 5 plays, and total counting his receptions for touchdown, Dillon with 87 total scores. So 9-3 the score as Adam Pac-Man Jones stands at the goal line. Gostkowski's kick short this time, and it bounces in front of Jones, just does field it. Boy, he is clever. He's across the 30 to the 33. As Coach Belichick indicated, one of the toughest men to tackle in the league.
Good coordination blocking-wise. You got a block, you got down, you've got down, kick out, and then fullback Heath Evans coming through and getting himself a kick out. This is exactly how you draw up on a chalkboard. And when the defenders are on that chalkboard and they can't move, they have something in common with the guys in the field just now. They didn't move either. And they were just manned up. And Corey Dillon's just flat too explosive. Don't be fooled that this guy's lost much off his fastball. He didn't exactly have a Nolan Ryan to start with, but he can still move it around pretty good.
And, you know, his build and his running style is ideal for a field condition like this, isn't it?
Oh, it's perfect. That's why he'd love to run it late in the season on that old field at Gillette so well.
On first down, Young steps up. There's that little sidearm throw. And of course, during the collegiate years and during the draft process, some speculating as whether or not Young had the kind of throwing style that would allow him to fully succeed in the league.
And, you know, part of him might have been right. You know, there was a good observation. He does have a sidearm, drop arm kind of a motion, but none of those people could teach him how to win. He does that. That's an innate ability. This is a critical offseason for Vince Young. He's got to take the step. He's got to work with his wide receivers. They need to get him a big play wide receiver here. And he's got to become a real pro quarterback. If he can be one of the best to play the game.
Meanwhile, he's got those great legs that have produced some big yards. There's a flag before the snap and a false start against the Titans.
But that innate ability is only going to take you so far, Dick.
5-yard penalty, second down.
Some would argue that Vince Young should get a lot of votes for Rookie of the Year in the NFL. Here are the top candidates: Young, Reggie Bush, his teammate Colston, and Adai of Indianapolis.
He's Roy right there, number one, Vince Young. That is your Rookie of the Year. But that innate ability, that great ability, he's got to take it to the next level. He'll hear a lot of, well, you just got to be you. Well, when you gets out in the open, yeah, that's true. But to run an offense the right way, you've got to learn how to be a pro.
On 2nd and 15. Young loses the ball in a scramble at the 25, and the Patriots say they can have the ball, and they do. It's Roosevelt Colvin who comes up with the ball as Young didn't see the pressure from behind, had it stripped and knocked forward right into the arms of Colvin.
One of the goals of this defense is to do this. They want to pressure from the outside, pinch on Vince Young, and don't let him scramble out of the pocket. Well, they got the pinch working pretty good, but it was that face pressure right there by Green, Jarvis Green, getting there stripping the ball.
And it was Green last week at Jacksonville, late in the game, final minutes, was able to strip Garrard, and that preserved the victory, very important victory, and the AFC Eastern title for New England. So Brady and company tried to take advantage. Lawrence Maroney in the backfield with him from the 24-yard line. Fake to Maroney, the quick screen pass left to Chad Jackson, the wide receiver, and he's hit immediately by Cortland Finnegan, the rookie from Samford. So here again, the Tennessee situation. It doesn't matter about Pittsburgh, Kansas City, San Francisco if they can help out. First job is to beat New England today, and the Titans trail 9-3, and on that turnover, how many more might the Patriots get?
Well, you saw how fired up Bullock and this defense was before the game. Well, Jeff Fisher's football team right now, defensive football team, has to not only to stop Brady, but try to get a turnover.
No gain on the flanker screen to Jackson. Here's Maroney. Sprinting forward and tough to tackle to the 15, and looks to have the first down as we go to James Brown in New York.
All right, Dick and Randy, let's take a look here at the Detroit Lions trying to do their part here. John Kitna hooking up with Roy Williams right at the edge. It is definitely ruled as a touchdown. 13-0 Detroit. If Dallas loses, Philly wins the East. Back to Dick and Randy.
Oh, that's a stunning score. 13-0 Lions in Dallas. And if Dallas should lose, that would make it easy for the Eagles. Their game would be insignificant. They'd have the NFC Eastern title.
Well, Bill Parcells had gray hair to start with, but having to coach this group of Cowboys has got to really be driving him nuts.
You just kind of you picture them all on horses out on the range, and Bill trying to gather them in. Come on, we got to get back to the corral.
You'd want to say horses because they're the Cowboys, but it's more like herding cats.
You saw just about a foot short of a first down. Maroney stays in. Third down. Maroney hitting the backfield, but he ducks under the pressure and able to submarine his way to a first down inside the 15-yard line as the final seconds tick away here in the opening quarter.
Dick, there's a good example. Albert Hainsworth was in the backfield, should have had him, didn't have the intensity to make the tackle.
And that's the end of the first quarter with the score. New England 9, Tennessee 3. We'll return to Music City, USA after these messages. Rain continues to fall heavier than ever now here at the Coliseum in downtown Nashville. And for the New England Patriots, boy, they're as good as any. That correlation between turnover differential and winning games. And Patriots with the first turnover, and they're 35-0 in the last 35 games with the advantage. Brady underneath, completes it to Maroney, breaks a tackle, and then a crowd of Titans bring him down at the 12-yard line.
Yeah, when you get kind of slimy like this, it's kind of like the old county fair. You're greasing up a watermelon or greasing up a pig, or the old, have them go up a telephone pole they've greased. I mean, you really have to get a grab on these guys. And we've already seen, numerous defenders on both sides of the ball just sort of grasp at running backs. And Maroney's too strong. We talk about how fast he is, but he's also plenty strong, just like Henry, just like Dillon.
On second down, short 9. Give it to Maroney. A draw out of the shotgun, and he's able to move inside the 10 to the 8-yard line, maybe closer to the 7. There's the situation in the NFC with your division leaders. Chicago, New Orleans have clinched. Philadelphia about to, if Detroit keeps going at Dallas, and Seattle is the division leader. Giants with a win last night. That's huge. Throw is incomplete, but there were too many men on the field for the Tennessee Titans. They had 12 men on the field. Whether or not that was seen, we'll soon find out. And Jeff Fisher jumping onto the field to exercise his position.
Well, Starks was trying to get off the field, number 90, and he was well on the field still by the time they threw that ball was snapped.
There was a substitution on the play by the offense. Therefore, by rule, there is no foul, there is no play. New England is to be warned against substituting and quickly snapping the ball to catch the defense with 12 people. We will replay third down. No foul.
Great explanation again by Ed Hockley, because you need to give the other team an opportunity to react to your substitution. And when you've got one guy going in this way, you've got to give equal time for this guy to get off the field. That guy was Starks, and there wasn't enough time to get the second guy off the field.
And Jabbar Gaffney was the man that Bill Belichick sent on as the wide receiver, and he was the receiver on the play that becomes no play. So in essence, it does give the Patriots another chance at third down. If the play had held, it was incomplete, and the field goal unit would be out there. They spot the ball at the 8-yard line.
And this isn't a star-studded group of receivers for New England, but Tom Brady makes them so dangerous.
Yeah, they all get their chance. 11 different players with touchdowns on receptions. 3rd and 4. Brady to the end zone. Too tall. Riche Caldwell, the intended receiver. Ball seemed to slip out of Brady's hand.
It's going to be a little slimy. I don't care how many times our officials cover the ball. When it gets down on the ground, that slimy side is slapping up into the quarterback's hand, and that's just about a freckles bit of mud getting into the quarterback's hand and making that ball sail a little bit out of bounds.
26-yard attempt by Gostkowski. Made good from 27 earlier. And he knocks it through. So out of the turnover, Jeff Fisher's team see another 3 against them. Now the Patriots with a 12-3 lead. There's a Pac-Man fan. I wonder if he drinks a lot of milk. That's how Adam got his nickname, Pac-Man, as his family said, the way you slug down that milk, it's like a Pac-Man chewing up those quarts in the refrigerator. There he is. dangerous 3 return touchdowns this year. This kick with the wind at the back sends Jones to the 4. Looking for a crease. Oh, down he goes like a outfielder sliding on a hook slide into second base. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern, folks, 2 collegiate offensive powerhouses collide. Steve Slayton and the West Virginia Mountaineers face All-American Calvin Johnson and the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech. The Toyota Gator Bowl tomorrow at 1 Eastern here on CBS.
One thing to be a real factor here pretty quick for Pac-Man Jones and anybody else handling the ball is this sodded area in between the numbers is starting to crease up pretty good. They're going to have guys falling all over the place.
The throw and wide open is Drew Bennett at the 48 and knocked out of bounds inside the 50. Artrell Hawkins on the coverage, but he found a big open spot, did Drew Bennett, and Young with a strike on the sidelines.
Well, this is kind of an answer for all you out there that don't think Vince Young reads defenses. That's just flipping the ball out because he's got a wide open receiver. You don't need to read defenses to notice that maybe somebody's made a mistake on the defensive side of the ball. And good reaction by both Bennett and Young, taking advantage of that play.
Trailing now 12-3. Blocked extra point if you're just joining us, counting for the unusual score. And it's Travis Henry to the 46, 2nd down and 8. Lots happening around the NFL, JB.
Dallas trying to help its own cause. Dick Enberg, take a look here. They go to the ground attack. Marion Barber, 14th rushing touchdown of the season. That a 1-yarder, narrowing the gap with the Lions, 13-7. Dick Enberg, Randy Cross.
All right, James, and you can imagine Bill Parcells was not at all pleased with that early 13-0 deficit, and Barber with the answer. He played that Minnesota with Maroney, the Patriots' brilliant rookie. Pass is complete. Bobby Wade, and he's inside the 40. They try to rip the ball away. Rodney Harrison down in the pile trying to free it up for the Patriots.
This could probably be 3rd down. They're just a little bit short of a 1st down.
Wade, who's been a good pickup by Tennessee from Arizona, and a quick huddle, and often here Young will sneak it. No, he's going to give it to Henry, and Henry has more than a 1st down. Slams down to the 32-yard line. Travis Henry, the former Buffalo Bill. His nickname is Cheese because he's built like one of those big old blocks of cheese and tough to tackle at 5'9".
Dick, a terrible thing. I mean, if you're an NFL fan, you love an all-pro like Rodney Harrison, and Rodney Harrison on this play got hurt. He gets chop blocked by number 19, Bobby Wade, comes in and hits him, and the Patriot players aren't real happy about what he did. He cut blocked him low, and it would appear that Rodney Harrison is hurt.
And the emotions have been inflamed from the very start of this game. There's been a lot of barking and pushing and shoving, and Bruschi was the sheriff after the injury, like all the New England players, so fond of Harrison, who just did get off the injury list. Let's hope this is not serious. We're back in Nashville, and Rodney Harrison attended. He did leave the field under his own power, but assisted. There's the man who blocked him, Bobby Wade. We'll take another look at it if we get a chance here.
But Dick, if you line up outside and you come inside, like on the defensive linemen or the linebackers or whatnot, you can't chop block. You can't cut block. If you're coming in here, you can't do it. But what Wade does is he blocks right here. That is not the illegal zone for the guy lined up inside. That's basically up the field. He puts his helmet right on his lower thigh area right there and flips Rodney Harrison up in the air. I think if you're a Patriot fan, you just have to hope that contact didn't come when Harrison's knee was, or foot was fully planted in the ground, because that's when you can get hurt.
Travis Henry picks up the 1st down for Tennessee and a flag before the snap.
It was Henry that moved.
Eager to
False start offense, number 20. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Henry needs 91 yards today for 1,200 for the season. That's quite a mark, because only 4 men have done it, would include Henry. Earl Campbell 5 times, Eddie George 5 times, Lorenzo White 1 time in franchise history, trying to join that list.
It's injuries like that to guys like Harrison is why in games like this that don't mean much to a team, people say, should you play anybody?
Young down the middle. Incomplete, intended for Brandon Jones. Second-year receiver from Oklahoma, trying to stretch that 6'1", 212-pound frame.
And Vince Young lays out his receiver pretty good. He doesn't necessarily have to throw it as high as he ends up throwing it, and he puts his guy and subjects him to a little bit of punishment. He'll learn eventually to place that thing in there a little bit more receiver friendly.
Ellis Hobbs took some punishment too from his teammate James Sanders. Artrell Hawkins and Sanders now the safeties with Harrison out. It's Henry burrowing his way inside the 35. And that'll bring up long yardage for Vince Young.
Remember at the beginning of the game, Dick, we talked about it's very important for two things for New England to do is one, come out of here with momentum. I'm playing pretty well, and so far so good. They're playing pretty good. You know, they really are. But the other part, equally as important for Teddy Bruschi and Bill Belichick and everybody in this organization, was to come out of here completely healthy. So if you're a Patriot and you're a Patriot fan, you've got to hope that there isn't much to that injury to Rodney Harrison.
Third down, 13. And Young from the shotgun. The throw is incomplete through the hands of Bennett, and that's a catch he'll make 10 out of 10 in good dry conditions, but you got to snap onto it a little quicker when it's wet.
An excellent job by Vince Young finding the proper receiver, putting it in the perfect place, and that's been a little bit of this season in a nutshell for this offense. There's been a lot of that. A ball bounces off a guy's hand, bounces off the pad. The ball's not caught. They just have not been that sharp. There's plenty to work on this offseason.
So the field goal would be about 51 yards. So Hendrick comes out to punt it into this rain, and they're kicking into the wind going this direction. Hendrick, who's got that knuckleball kick, and there it is, wobbling. And they'll let it fly, and look how dead it drops at the 8-yard line.
You don't associate bounce and swamp in the same sentence.
Hendrick will be putting for birdie. It's with the lead, 12-3. Take over at their 9-yard line, and the rain continues to fall as predicted. Brady to the sidelines. It's caught, but out of bounds. Riche Caldwell. It's an incomplete pass. Second down and 10.
Yeah, this was a very good call by the official, because the ball just tends to kind of swing wide, just barely wide. Possession doesn't ever come on the catch, and even if he would have caught it at the end where it looked like he may be coming into possession, he'd have been about squatting on the ground by the time it did come into his possession.
Again, Brady was so accurate, and coaches around the league always commenting on maybe the most accurate passer in the NFL, and yet having trouble under these conditions today, and maybe that sore shoulder. This one's on the money to Caldwell, almost the same play, and out of bounds at the 16-yard line, short of the first down. Well, Rodney Harrison, as they attend to him, they say it's a leg injury, doubtful he'll return. Injured his right shoulder while trying to tackle Marvin Harrison back earlier in the season, and the Patriots lost to the Colts in Week 9. The injury sidelined Harrison for 6 games, returning last week.
And he was trying to rehab and come back from a knee injury last year this season. So it's been a challenge here the last 2 years for Rodney Harrison.
Immensely popular with his teammates, and of course immensely productive on that defense. That would be a huge loss going into the playoffs. Brady on third down. Lots of time. Now has to throw it away. Good coverage by the Tennessee defense. Oh, flag down in the end zone as Brady, as he threw the ball, was hit by Kyle Vanden Bosch, and a flag down.
He's obviously giving himself up and throwing it away. You just can't hit him late. It was Starks and Vanden Bosch in that area.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Tackling the quarterback below the knees. Penalty, automatic first down. The foul was on number 93.
So instead of having to kick on fourth down from inside their 10, the personal foul and a first down. Vanden Bosch down too low.
Down low, trying to grab those legs, and you cannot go late at a quarterback. Well, basically, folks, you can hit him from the belt buckle to the upper part of his numbers, and that's it. If you hit a quarterback anywhere else, you're going to get a flag.
And even though he was not wrapped up and Brady quickly skipping out of the tackle, that's the way they're going to call it.
It's a flag for intent. Don't go low. And they all know it. Every defender knows it.
Fans, of course, unhappy here in Nashville. So first down on the penalty out to the 31. And there's the pitch back. And the throw downfield complete to the 47-yard line as Riche Caldwell coming back to cradle the ball.
Wow, how about a little patience there in execution? You know, last night, Matt Stafford from the University of Georgia had a great play fake where he held the ball forever. Dillon held the ball forever. Looked like he was reading the defense down the field before he turned around and flipped it to Brady.
Well, Dillon's so confident that he's not going to be knocked down by the first hit anyway. Maroney now in to replace him. First down, New England at their own 47. 8:50 left in the first half. Maroney. And it's a spirited tackling group for these Titans, and Lamont Thompson leading the charge. And there's some more extracurricular.
Here comes the flag down.
Now these two teams are playing angry, and that does not bode well for the possibilities of injury, and that's, I think, what concerns both Jeff Fisher and especially Bill Belichick coming into the game, with Belichick having much less to gain by victory today than Fisher might if his team should come away with a win.
Patriots think they're getting cheap shots, and Tennessee's not going to let up.
Well, you heard Bullock and his spirited that spirited let's go get them. If they don't want to play, they think this regular season's over. They got everything locked up. And, of course, that's been the theme here.
The play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 80, 15-yard penalty. It's second down, the down count.
The veteran Troy Brown stepping up, but gets the 15 yards.
That's Troy Brown right there, getting a little bit of a tussle with Cortland Finnegan, which drew that flag. And it's typical. It's week 17. You know, Tennessee is in their formula. They still have a chance. It still means something to them. New England doesn't have quite the meaning. You had the chippy shots. You know, Moai took a couple shots, and they had little chippy fights. And then Jeff Fisher's offense blocked Rodney Harrison low. It wasn't a cheap shot. It wasn't an illegal block, but would appear to have injured him. And now neither side is real happy.
It's not a Pat the Fanny kind of let's just go out and finish the season.
No, this isn't the Pro Bowl.
No.
No.
Well, this crowd awakened by the activity. Second down and 26. I do not know what the huddle is here, and Huckley has called in all of his officials at the 30-yard line.
It's got to be some sort of a spot of the ball and coordination with the clock.
8:37 showing here in the second quarter. Corey Dillon joins Brady in the backfield, shotgun. Sellout crowd in Nashville trying to help the defense. Brady underneath, complete to the tight end Daniel Graham, and boy, there's some ferocious hitting by these Titans. They are not holding up a bit, and Keith Bullock leading the charge.
Well, they're tackling like they're still in it. What do you know? And you look at their formula. You know, they need a Cincinnati loss, and Pittsburgh is leading.
And they need a Kansas City defeat of Jacksonville, and they're getting it there. And then they still need a Denver loss at home against San Francisco. But stranger things have happened, as you folks well know, especially up there in Pittsburgh, where everyone counted out the Steelers going into December, and they wind up carrying the Super Bowl trophy home to the Steel City. Brady, he's going to go long, and he's got a man out there, Riche Caldwell, all the way to the 15-yard line. Lamont Thompson finally catches up, but Caldwell, a big man with excellent speed, the former San Diego Charger, found his way open.
Any receiver in this league, I don't care how fast you are as a DB, and Adam Jones is fast, but he gets that first shot, and then it's basically, hey, it's all yours back in the defensive backfield. I've got safety help over the top, but you're going against the Patriots offense with Tom Brady at quarterback, and Tom Brady spent this summer and preseason working on the deep pass and told us yesterday, I haven't had much of a chance to use it. We don't do it real often. Looks like some of that work just paid off.
49-yard pass play. Brady to Caldwell and a first down inside the 15 of the Titans. And did Brady call time before the clock ran out? That is a timeout. Patriots, their second used in this opening half. Welcome back, Dick Enberg, Randy Cross, and Happy New Year, everyone. I hope it's happy and healthy, safe for all of you. Enjoy our action coming up in the playoffs. 12-3 the score. The Patriots' last 3 possessions, field goal, touchdown, field goal, and here they are, only 14 yards away from the goal line. Maroney ducks out of 1 tackle and down at the 11-yard line.
Dick, Tom Brady, we talked about him being a little bit sore from that hit last week, and all he is right now after a slowish start is 10 of 14 for 154. But if you look at his back, you can see that he's got shoulder pads and he's got rib pads, and he got his contact right in the middle of his numbers on his back there. And in the middle of the numbers, for about a 3-inch area, there's no shoulder pad and there's no rib pad, and that's about where the helmet hit.
Quick throw is out to Troy Brown, and he skids to the 10-yard line in the grasp of Lamont Thompson. And for those of you who did not see it, we'll show you that hit, but first a flag on the play.
Illegal motion, offense number 86 was going down into his stance as the ball was snapped. The penalty is declined. Brings up 3rd down.
Tight end David Thomas not setting himself in the stance. Here it is last week at Jacksonville and had the hearts and the throats of Patriot fans. Watch the hit here by Clint Ingram on the spear. And Brady said, I laid there on the ground. He said, let me stay here for a while. I got to catch my breath. This hurts.
Well, Belichick told him Thursday he wasn't going to play. Didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday, says you're not playing this weekend.
3rd down and 6. 5 men into the pattern. Brady fires complete inside the 5, and it's Jabbar Gaffney who ducks in to the 1-yard line. And Gaffney now this year has his 11th catch of the season.
But after an early start that was kind of questionable, he looked a bit off. Tom Brady is throwing some BBs right now. Threw that long one perfectly and just fitting in the tough ones right now. It's been less than classic execution by this offense in the red zone from the standpoint of scoring touchdowns. That's a great plus for the Titans. For the Patriots, this is one you punch in right now, you've got a huge lead.
And they got the puncher in the backfield, Corey Dillon, already with a 21-yard touchdown. Here's a 1-yard try, and he's got it. And the Patriots build their lead to 18-3.
Yeah, it's always fun when they're watching New England when they play offense, when they've got Mike Vrabel on the field, because there's so many different things he can do. He's lined up at that left defensive end on the right side of your screen. He doesn't get a great block, but that's all about that offensive line up front. But if you're going to land in the end zone and you're on the Patriots offense, you got a good chance of landing on a tight end. They've got about 8 of them, it seems like, and that time it was Daniel Graham that got landed on.
Gostowski in to try the extra point. Remember, he had his last one blocked by Tony Brown. This is a better field condition at this end, and no problems for the rookie kicker on that one. So 19-3 the lead. And since the Harrison injury, Brady and the offense seemed almost motivated to say, we'll show you. And they do. 91 yards in 10 plays. The payoff from 1 yard out by the veteran Dillon. Brady, and you wonder if he might be campaigning to say, don't you take me out. So that's what I live for. That's why I work so hard. Sundays, I enjoy this game. And he certainly enjoyed his performance on that 91-yard drive. He was 6 out of 6. And the big play came on the 49-yard pass to Riche Caldwell. So the Patriots 19-3 the lead, and here's a little punch kickoff by Gostkowski, and Jones on the run at the 20, the 35, 45, and to the 49, and a flag late goes down.
That's Chad Brown, our umpire, called that penalty. If he did it, I'm guessing it was either a push in the back or a hold, because he is a connoisseur of those.
Holding by the receiving team, number 23. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Tennessee's ball, first down.
Spot of the foul of 40. A special guest shot on that, Randy Cross. Your father being an outstanding actor as you were a youngster watching him in Hollywood. I bet you'd be tough. You look like a cop. And you are armed.
I could be a bad guy.
As a player, you were armed. Young hands it off. And Henry, look at darting through a big hole. And powers his way inside the 45-yard line, running through James Sanders in the process.
Well, anyone that has any doubts that the straight arm as a lost art, well, it isn't lost, because young running backs like Travis Henry are using it a lot. I know Maroney likes it, Dillon likes it, and that is a textbook version, putting it under the chin of a defender and pushing him down on the ground. Right there. Oh, get away.
Gain of 25 on the run by Henry. He now has 57 in this first half. And right back to him, and another big hole up the middle, and drives his way for about 8 to the 35-yard line. And again, it's Sanders with a tackle.
He returns a little form tackle. You know, one play you get a straight arm, and then Sanders gives him a nice little form tackle.
Here's Henry, as Travis, who played with the Volunteers of Tennessee, 1,109 yards, and he's closing in on that magic 1,200-yard mark accomplished by only 3 other men in franchise history.
Yet again, Dick, another running back in this league this year that didn't start the year as a starter that has 1,000 yards rushing.
Another thing, the New England Patriots just don't give up big runs. In fact, all year, only 3 times has an opponent rushed for more than 20, and Henry just picked up 25.
Vince Wilfork makes a huge difference at that nose tackle position. He is a one-man run stopper.
And Harrison out is the backup to Wilfork. Now we're going to try Henry once more. And here he goes again. 20, 10, down to the 2-yard line. Well, Randy, there must be some great blocking on those last 3 runs. Where are the linebackers?
Remember during the 70s and 80s, they had mood stones. A running game, especially with a running back like Travis Henry, is a mood checker. Right now, the mood of the defense of New England is a little bit passive, not quite up to the challenge. And you're not up to the challenge. This is a good running game in Tennessee. They will cram it down your throat.
34 more yards for Henry. So only 2 20-yard runs all season and 2 on this drive by Travis Henry. Now Lindell White in the game. Young keeps it. Throws into the end zone. No, he can't get rid of it, and it's tackled for the loss. Back at the 7-yard line by Sanders. A good thing he didn't throw, because well covered was the tight end Ben Hartsock.
But he was out of the pocket. So right now you've got to say, get rid of it. Put it up in the 4th row. But don't throw it near a defender. But don't lose yards. You're on the 2-yard line. That's inexcusable. You can't do that. But another lesson learned. Another thing, you know, Norm Chow's the offensive coordinator here for Jeff Fisher. Got to sit down, got to break down the tape, got to spend the offseason saying, now in this circumstance, knock somebody's popcorn out of their hand in the 3rd row.
6-yard loss on the play. 2nd and goal from the 8-yard line. Whoa, Young trips and just does get the handoff to Lindell White. And White, big man who battles to the 5-yard line and behind Ahmad Hall.
It would appear the footing is getting a bit treacherous for even the home side guys.
Here comes Travis Henry back in, 3rd and goal from, see where they spotted at the closer to the 4-yard line. 98 yards for Henry here in the first half, so he has hit the 1,200-yard mark, and we have hit the 2-minute warning here in Tennessee with New England well in front. Happy New Year from all of us at CBS Sports from LP Field in Nashville. And the Tennessee Titans have it third and goal at the 5-yard line. Trailing the New England Patriots 19-3. What's offensive coordinator Norm Chow called here for Vince Young? Henry in the backfield. Young to throw. Out of the backfield, incomplete. Ahmad Hall didn't have a chance. Teddy Bruschi was right there anyway, had the pass been on target. So the field goal unit comes on, and Rob Baronis, another short field goal attempt.
Just a quick flip, just an easy little pass that Vince Young's not able to complete, but that was excellent defense because they were not going to be beaten, the New England Patriots, on the perimeter. They knew that with the speed of a Vince Young and the kind of offensive receivers they have, they've got to attack the perimeters with 5 yards to go.
An apparent short 23-yard field goal. Hendrick to hold. Hendrick has a good arm. He's thrown some passes in his career, but this one is a kick attempt, and it is no good. And so at this end of the field, where it is tougher turf conditions and not much wind, but in the practice, both kickers had their difficulties. And now Baronis joins Gostowski, who had one extra point blocked earlier in the game.
I'm not saying the field's bad, but I expect a Swamp Thing sighting any minute now down that end of the field. That was right there, and just when kickers can't have faith in that plant foot, boy, they do some interesting things.
You can't dance up to the ball, and it's so critical in getting your body torqued for the kick, for that front foot to really be locked in, isn't it? And when it's skidding around as if you're on ice, makes it a different game.
Or if you think it might be skidding around. Then you take your steps are off, and the kicks go in different directions.
So the Patriots maintain the 19-3 lead and take over at the 20-yard line. And Brady stays in the game. Jeff Fisher running down to wave some signal at Hockley, the referee, and now we're all set. Sun trying to break through, and does here. Rain all around, no rain at the moment. 1:54 left in the half for the Patriots to try to add to their 16-point lead. It's Evans. And a flag down as Evans is tackled at about the 22. Reading the lips, number 70, Logan Mankins, guilty of the hold.
You know, New England got off to a bit of a halting start with that, the punt, then the field goal. But since then, those last 4 drives, they've really taken advantage, especially finishing those drives off with the touchdowns. That's what's been the difference maker. The defense played well, holding them to the field goals. But when you have Tom Brady starting to get in a groove, it can seem like practice at times.
Tennessee scored first, but now 19 unanswered by New England. Maroney on the toss. Trying to get some speed generated, but could not put it into high gear. Lamont Thompson ran him off the field of play. Well short of the first down after the holding penalty on Mankins.
See, now from the Tennessee standpoint, you've got to start thinking, okay, what kind of field position can I get for my offense when we can get the ball back? And that's got to be Jeff Fisher's obsession right now. And Maroney actually did him a favor going out of bounds there because they have 2 timeouts left. Now second down. Hold him on the next 2. Only waste 1 timeout maybe, and you'll have a chance to get the ball back.
Back to Maroney. And look at him slip. But he still stays on balance and picks up gain out to the 20-yard line where it'll be 3rd down and 10. Starks makes the tackle, and clock continues to run. Tennessee elects not to use one of those timeouts in this spot. And of course New England will consume as much of the play clock as they can. There's still 20 seconds left. That'll take it all the way down into the 40s. If they use all the time.
The Tennessee defense, obviously, with a spread look, might see a lot of things, but I think a lot of screen and draw if I'm the Tennessee Titans.
Back to Maroney. Up the middle, runs into a pile. It stops shy of the 25. Tony Brown was their first. And there is one of the timeouts spent by Tennessee. Clock at 53 seconds before the intermission. And at the intermission, it'll be the Sprint halftime report. All the guys back in New York will sort out the early results and highlights on the Sprint halftime report.
Yeah, I think right here on 4th down, you think 100% return. You hold up at the line of scrimmage. You've got Adam Jones back there getting ready to return the ball, who's got speed to burn. I mean, this guy has got the great feel. He's hard to tackle, like Bill Belichick was saying. And he's just sort of a touchdown waiting to happen today. He's been so close.
He's the second coming of Deion Sanders, at least in the eyes of these Titan fans. Incredibly fast in the field. It's veteran Todd Sauerbrunn gets the kick away. What a kick it is. His longest as a Patriot, all the way to the 19-yard line. And good coverage by New England initially, and here comes Jones. Sauerbrunn to beat. He's by him. Can they catch Pac-Man? No, sirree. 81 yards.
Well, Todd Sauerbrunn, I got some good news and I got some bad news. You knocked the dog out of that punt. But Adam Jones had about 20 yards to look around him. Nice and deep. The 8th touchdown on a return for the Tennessee Titans this season.
And the 3rd punt return touchdown for Jones. That equals the franchise record of 3 set by Billy White Shoes Johnson. Baronis in to try the extra point, and that gives the Titans some life emotionally as they go to the locker room. A big 81-yard punt return touchdown.
Bill Belichick's got to be thinking right now, who told them to kick to him anyway?
The extra point by Baronis is good, and Tennessee pulls within 9. Pac-Man Jones had a punt return touchdown last year and now 3 this season.
Look at all that land he's going to have in front of him. Then look at the way he goes through this defense. Great returns, excellent blocks, but you can't coach this.
No.
This is not Alan Lowry. He's a wonderful special teams coach, but this guy came gift-wrapped at birth to be able to do this. He can make people miss. He can set up blocks, and once he gets in the open, he can flat get it.
Gives you a little Deion as he finishes in a mild gallop. You try to tackle him. Poor Sauerbrunn.
I'd rather try to tackle him than to catch him.
And Jeff Fisher liked it. Send it to that man, Pac-Man, and then watch Fisher.
You know how early that was? I mean, he was standing about the 50. He knew as soon as he got by him, he was gone.
And just breathing a little heavily, and Sauerbrunn, who had kicked 5 times last week, his first duty as a Patriot for a 35-yard average, and that was by far his longest in a while, but unfortunately too long. It gave Pac-Man some time to eat up the Patriots special teams, and 81 yards for the score.
But Dick, you just felt that coming for the better part of this first half. Every time he's touched the ball, he's about busted it for a touchdown.
Baronis, we'll see if he just chips this one down on the ground. Ellis Hobbs deep. Patriots would like to return the favor. Now he's going to kick it away. Here comes Hobbs. He has a kickoff return touchdown this year against Houston. Out to the 30, and there are 9 men in on the tackle for Tennessee.
Tackled by the kickoff team. En masse.
Another look at Jones' mastery in the open field.
Isn't running like this, Dick, appropriate? You refer to this as artistry. No matter what era, the guys that do it like this, it just looks like ballet sometimes.
Yeah, I was thinking as I looked at that move once again, Gale Sayers' name just jumped into my memory of how he used to weave his way through the open field so effortlessly. Yeah, you're right. The great ones, they're in a company of elite artists. And that is the end of the opening half. Bringing some enthusiasm back to this Tennessee crowd, Pac-Man Jones with a score. Patriots 19, Titans 10. We'll be back for the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 41.
13-3. Meanwhile, Steelers at the Bengals. Boom.
Bengals need the Jets to lose, and the Bengals have got the win. And you would think, okay, Ben Roethlisberger, he's going to help us out. Here's his 23rd interception of the day. But then Bill Cowher and Ken Wisenhunt say, you know what, let's get the ball out of his hand and let's run the ball with Willie Parker. And that's exactly what they do. The next play will be a 1-yard touchdown run. That will be 15 on the season for Willie Parker, tying a franchise record with Louis Lips, who did it in 1985.
Dan and Shannon, that would be a rough day, huh? 23 on a day? Yeah, absolutely. Jags, hey, I'm about to get your bitch. Shannon.
Bernard Pollard blocked his punt. I say it's Justice, JB. He did the dirty work. Justice would be him recovering this ball for a touchdown. He does that 7-0. Kansas City, they're rocking and rolling in Arrowhead. But here, David Garrard fakes to Fred Taylor, slip screen to the outside, picks up some great blocking, juke, jive, and away he goes in the end zone. 7-7. Jacksonville, Kansas City tied up. But a flea flicker. Hands off to Granny, Larry Johnson, back to Trent Green. Eddie Kennedy beats two guys, so that means he's better than both of you. 21-10.
It was only one pass.
Oh, but he beat two guys. 21-10 Kansas City.
Dan said 23 interceptions would get you, bitch.
Yeah, in one game. Kick returning Eddie Drummond, he goes to the outside. He goes 40 yards from Detroit Lions. That sets up a field goal for Detroit, putting them up 3-0. And John Kitna, he finds Roy Williams, the singing cowboy, right, Shannon, in the end zone. Kitna threw for 4,000 yards this season, the second line to ever do that. Then Marion Barber comes back, gets a touchdown for the Cowboys. And Tony Romo bringing the Cowboys back over the middle. Patrick Creighton, 6-yard touchdown. Then here comes John Kitna, Detroit Lions quarterback. Roy Williams once again in the corner. Get up, gets up, touchdown. Detroit up by 6.
Boy, and Cowboys can clinch the East with a win and an Eagles loss. Need to get it going, Shannon.
The starters from New Orleans on offense played one series. They end up with a touchdown, 1-yard run. Reggie Bush, 7-0. Here, Jake DeLong up top, down below Steve Smith, 22-yard touchdown, 7-7. Here, Jamie Martin, Jamal Brandt. He's not in the program. They just signed him yesterday. Deshaun Foster takes his handoff, 2-yard run, 14-14.
Meanwhile, the backup quarterback, Jamie Martin, back to pass. Picked off by Chris Gamble. Gamble up alertly, takes it to pay dirt. So it is now Carolina on top, 21-14. Panthers have won 4 straight in New Orleans. Rams, Vikings, boom.
Well, here's young quarterback Travaris Jackson starting for Brad Johnson. He'll throw his first of 2 interceptions on the day. This one to Ron Bartell, who intercepted the second one as well. He takes this one in for a touchdown, 7-0. But you like this. He forgets the interception, and he's going to run it in, ties the score 7-7. And then one of the most underrated, underappreciated backs in all of the NFL, Steven Jackson, takes it in. Rams all over the Minnesota Vikings, 24-7.
Rams have won 2 straight. Meanwhile, the Seahawks, winners of the West, taking on the Buccaneers. Shannon.
Sean Alexander does what he does best. Scores 1-yard touchdown. 10-0. Seattle. Here, Joey Galloway from Tim Rattay. I got it down here. You better let me score. Don't hand it to a running back. He says, okay, I'll do that for you. 4-yard touchdown, 10-7 Seattle. But right before the half, Seattle would tackle another touchdown to put them up 17-7.
Houston had only 70 total yards at the half, but they're on top of the Browns now, 13-3. That one in the third. Dan says you'd bench him with 23?
Oh, in one day?
One day. Second half. Patriots and Titans after this. Oh, we're having some fun.
CBS Sports presents the Sprint Halftime Report. Sprint together with Nextel. Power up.
Set along the Cumberland River in Nashville is LP Field. Sold out 68,000 halftime. New England on the strength of 2 Corey Dillon touchdown runs, leading 19-10, but dare not celebrate too quickly because the Pac-Man's in the house, and he has delivered an 81-yard touchdown. And we'll continue after this word from your local station. That featured a lot of emotion, some tough hitting, an injury to Rodney Harrison, a tremendous punt return touchdown by Pac-Man Jones, and this Tennessee team that started 0-5 and have won 8 of the last 10, and you can see glimpses of why they've been so dramatic, and often it's in the fourth quarter they pull it out.
Well, you often hear the cliche of, teams, they are what they are. It's very obvious what both these teams are. The Patriots are a proud organization, a proud football team, and they've reacted that way. And Tennessee's getting to be that way, and they're not worried about the formulas. You know, they're taking care of the business they have to take care of today.
And it's a young team, quarterbacked by a young, and they're very young, second youngest in the league as we look at the first half numbers.
Yeah, no surprise to the rushing yards. Over the last 10 weeks or so, this has been one of, if not the top rushing team in the NFL. Not only with Vince Young, but heck, I mean, Travis Henry has 12 carries for 98 yards, and you're cruising along at an 8-yard a run clip. You're right up there with the best of them.
And we're ready for the second half. You'll be watching your broadcast at home in high definition here on CBS, home of Super Bowl 41. And the Titans will get the ball to open this second half, and Pac-Man Jones will be on the receiving end of the kickoff. Picked in the first round 2 years ago from West Virginia, high school basketball All-America in the city of Atlanta. And not only an outstanding defender, 4 interceptions this year, 1 return for a touchdown, but 3 now punt return touchdowns. Pretty good numbers.
And Dick, honestly, if this young man ever quiets down his off-the-field issues and they become a non-factor, and in Jeff Fisher's mind, he sat him down this year earlier in the season to try to do that. If that becomes a reality, he's scary, because I don't know if there's a whole lot of upside to what he can do on the football field, both as a DB and as a guy that once he gets his hands on the ball, he's as dangerous as any offensive weapon in the league.
Nice thing about 23-year-olds, they do become 24, and sometimes maturity with it. And Jeff Fisher is certainly nursing him along in that regard as Gostkowski kicks it off, second half. Jones retreats a yard into the end zone. 20, 25, 30, watch out! 1 block away, and Gostkowski is able to save it at the 46-yard line. The kicker had to drag him down, and Rashad Baker there to assist. And
might have hurt that left ankle on that tackle.
Pac-Man slow getting up. Reaching at that left ankle.
I mean, is it me, or does he make you hold your breath when they kick the ball to him? Especially on this surface. You know, I don't know, Dick, if, you know, I've been on mud like this. I know you have. How are you going to change directions like that?
This move right here. Oop. He ducks down, and they all took the bait.
He got that off an old film from the Chippewas, didn't he, back in the day when there was an Enberg doing those things?
Oh, man, if I could only get out of the blocks. I had the moves. I just couldn't run. Now he's okay, and the standing ovation from these Tennessee faithful.
I'll guarantee one thing, whoever's at quarterback to start the second half for the New England Patriots will check him out when they get the ball back. Now, that's just their MO. You show a weakness, they'll check and see if you're still weak there.
So solid on kickoff returns, but brilliant in punt returns. And Vince Young takes over good field position at the 46, trailing by 9. We open the second half, and Young off play action, looking to run. Grabbed by Colvin and dragged down. Roosevelt Colvin got him by the jersey and shirt-tailed him for a loss. His 8.5 sack of the year.
Dick, remember what Bill Belichick told us last night about Vince Young, that he wasn't going to beat us outside? We've got the outside linebackers that can contain him, and so far you've seen an awful lot of that. You've seen the linebackers, both Colvin and Vrabel and Tully Bantakane and Teddy Bruschi, coming around the outside and not giving him that freedom to roam around on the outside of the defense.
Third sack for New England today. Henry caught immediately as he tries to center of the defense and rejected. Leading the charge was Ty Warren. A little extra push at the end, and a flag goes with it. Now that would be a mental error that Bill Belichick will not be able to digest well at all. He had made a fine defensive play, and just to shove at the end, and it's out in the open. Oh, so they pick up the flag. Puzzling.
Well, one thing we know for sure, that there's leeway on this particular issue, because the whistle's been blown. I mean, it's all over. There's no reason to be continue to be pushing around here.
Well, that angers some of the fans, as you can hear in the background. You know, I agree, a little push. What's with a little push with all the contact in the game, but that's the way they've been calling it.
Yeah, well, Ed Hockley and his crew have to realize, and I'm sure they do, have to keep a real tight lid on both these teams, because there's just a little bit simmering just below the surface, and it won't take much to make this thing pop and catch.
Yeah, we've already seen a taste of it. So third down, 15. Young to the sideline, almost a pick for Asante Samuel, who ducked in front of intended receiver Brandon Jones. You could just see him laying off the ball and reacting quickly, and Samuel, who has 8 interceptions, nearly a touchdown if he gets this one.
There's 4 linebackers, only 1 defensive lineman, Seymour, in the middle on the pass rush, and then you had 6 defensive backs. That's another one of those coverages that Vince Young hasn't seen a whole lot of that. And because he hadn't seen it, he threw it in a place where it didn't belong.
Chad Jackson now back to return the punt at the 15. Hendrick to kick it. Beautiful high boot. Jackson, no fair catch at the 11. Couple of Titans slipped down, and Jackson's in the clear. 30, and the sideline's out of bounds beyond the 35-yard line. They'll mark it at the 37. Good return by Chad Jackson. Hendrick got him out of bounds. On the New England sidelines, the 15-year-old son of Coach Belichick, Brian, who is quarterback. His dad smiling with us yesterday, saying, "Wouldn't you know it, my kids would be a quarterback, even though I wasn't good enough to play that position." He's charting plays already.
Yep, he's got a clipboard in his hands there, and he's standing next to Matt Cassel. Matt Cassel can do the translation for him, so he can write it down.
Brady stays in to start the second quarter. He eludes the sack, throws deep downfield, incomplete. Contact, penalty as Riche Caldwell run into by Finnegan. And the mark at the 25-yard line, so that's a big gainer for Belichick's pass game.
And that's all made possible by a guy escaping a rush. Didn't scramble.
Defense number 31. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
But Dick, you don't associate scrambling with Tom Brady, but he escapes the rush, and Cortland Finnegan comes up the back of Riche Caldwell. That's very easy to call.
He didn't go for the ball.
But the only reason that happened was because Tom Brady was able to escape and live to throw that ball.
38-yard penalty, and the yardage penalties against Tennessee climbing into that century mark, close to it. Graham, the tight end, in motion. Handed off to Dillon. Inside the 20. Takes 2 Titans, belt him, bring him to the turf at the 18, and we go to New York and James Brown.
Dick and Randy back and forth between Detroit and Dallas. Take a look at Terrence Newman on the punt return. Slips a tackle here. Finds a crease. 1 man to beat. He does it. 56 yards to pay dirt. Cowboys back on top by 1 in the third. Dick and Randy.
Dick, you remember earlier in the week that was Terrence Newman that told the other Cowboys, hey, why don't we all just shut up and play football? Who do you think he was talking to?
Well, he was talking to the Lions with his legs, and instincts there. And Brady trying to hit Troy Brown, incomplete. The penalty yardage now against the Titans, 8 for 97 yards.
Well, and Tom Brady is since the merger in 1970, he's won 69.5%, basically 69.6% of his road games. Only my old teammate Joe Montana was better. He won over 75%. But when these Patriots go on the road, it is not exactly a home field advantage for the other guys.
And Brady very proud that this offense has not turned it over the last 2 games. He said, we'd like to finish the year going to the playoffs with 3 perfect games in that regard. The throw into the flat to Evans, and Evans spins to the 15-yard line. And that'll be just short of the first down. Here's a look at that road record for the New England Patriots. The last 9 games, 8-1, and when they win big.
How about that right there? Those last 2, 78.8% of the time they score touchdowns, and that defense holds the other guys under 29% touchdowns in the red zone. That's how you win in the road. It shuts people up.
33-yard attempt by Gostkowski out of Matt Cassel's hold. And it is no good. The Kickers a nightmare day on this wet field in Nashville. Oh, it is Music City, USA, Nashville. And they've named the Tennessean of the Year, Dolly Parton. A little bit of music for every taste.
Well, Memphis has got a lot of blues music, but Gostkowski's got a little blues on the bench.
Missed a wide right from 33, so the Titans are within 9. Handed off to Henry, moves the pile out to the 25-yard line.
Let's go back to that miss real quick, just for two things. One, this isn't a slip, or this isn't the field. This is just a straight push, straight ahead. And remember who used to kick for New England. It's time to remind people of that, because it used to be Mr. Clutch, was Adam Vinatieri. And Gostkowski has one game-winning field goal in college. And this season, he's got a game-tying field goal. And he's going to be put, I guarantee you, in the playoffs in some very pressure-packed situation. Pats fans will want to see him perform just like Vinatieri did.
And run him out late in the game with a chance to win it. Young throws into the flat way short of Drew Bennett. And a flag down, and Young writhing as he was hit just as he threw the ball.
That was a arm or something to head contact on Vince Young.
Roughing the passer. Defense number 94. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Ty Warren having a tough day.
Well, Michael Wright is the nose tackle working right there off the ball, working against Kevin Mawai. Then it becomes Bell working on him, and see that right hand just slaps into the head and neck of Vince Young, and that is called 101% of the time.
I thought he said 94 Huckuli, but it was 99 Mike Wright who's in there, because Vince Wolford, once again with that ankle injury, suffered in Miami, not in uniform.
Young still sort of stretching that neck out. Be a good time to be running the ball a few times here. Let your young quarterback get that neck right.
Penalty takes it to the 40, but Young rolling, gets some room, wants to go deep, and now throws long for Bennett. Incomplete. Fans want a penalty, but it was good defense. Artrell Hawkins, Ellis Hobbs there. It was Hobbs that appeared to get his hands on it.
Did you see how dangerous that was? That's why you don't want Vince Young outside escaping the pocket. That ball was tipped and redirected, but it was redirected right into Drew Bennett's chest.
And Young himself was almost at the line of scrimmage as he released the ball. For a moment, I thought he was going to tuck it away, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, but that, you don't need any better example than that play right there as to why Bill Belichick or anybody that plays these Tennessee Titans for the next decade wants to rush up outside and put a pinching motion and keep him in the pocket.
Young underneath, and it's intended for Roy Dell Williams, and the hit by Hobbs, and here's another flag.
Artrell Hawkins better get his proverbial stuff together, because right now it is not together. Is that Ellis Hobbs? Ellis Hobbs is getting the call.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness defense, number 27, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Now the ball advances into New England territory on this foul.
Hawkins is on the ground. It's over.
Yeah. Just that little slap at the hand didn't really make much contact, but the intent again. Remember
the keeping the lid on the thing, because things are kind of simmering. You've got to call little ones like this, because the next one turns into a full shot into the face.
Ball spotted at the 45 of the Patriots on the penalty. So a couple of big calls against New England, advancing the ball for Tennessee. And now here comes Henry for 3. With the score 19-10 here in Tennessee. Let's go to New York for this update.
Dick and Randy, you know the New York Jets with the win. They're in the postseason. Chad Pennington pitches to Leon Washington. He had a big game last week against Miami. 15 yards to pay dirt. They're a 17-point Jets lead in the 4th. Dick Enberg, Randy Cross.
And what a story for the New York Jets and young Eric Mangini, who learned the game, so much of it coaching under Bill Belichick. on 2nd down and 7. Here's Henry to the 40. It'll be 3rd down and 5, Tennessee.
You know what's interesting, Dick, is you talk about those Jets and what a great story they are. And the draft was a huge story in April. And you know what? I think the draft right now, as we start a new year, is just as big a story 7 months later, 8 months later. Because, I mean, Mario Williams at number 1 is one thing, and he's had a decent year, as has D'Amico Ryans at linebacker. But you go down the list of guys that were drafted in this draft, they've had huge impacts on teams that are either in the playoffs or might get in the playoffs.
You see the flag go up well after the play, a verbal foul apparently. Mario Williams shocked everyone, did the Texans, when they picked the defensive end out of North Carolina State, but then Bush Young. Pro Bowler Richard Seymour. 5 consecutive Pro Bowls for Seymour, who's a brilliant player, but they're playing angry both sides, and let's just hope it doesn't lead to serious injury.
Well, they're going to crank it down, and they've been cranking it down.
I wonder if they ejected Seymour. He's walking off the field.
But he's out of the game, maybe to cool him down a little bit at least.
Jarvis Green replaces him. So 3 major fouls on this drive called against New England to give the Tennessee Titans first down, and now they're at the 25 with Lendell White at tailback. And the former Southern Cal star who teamed with Reggie Bush in that outstanding backfield for a couple of years, not getting much there. James Sanders replacing the injured Rodney Harrison.
There's Seymour right there, 93, coming out of the pile.
Second and 9 at the 24.
Not much, you know, but like you said, and we've been talking about, they're gonna call it tight. They are not going to let this get away from them, and I think it's a good move by this entire staff working the game.
And undoubtedly, Huckley went to both coaches and said, this second half, we're not going to put up with anything. So just tell your players. Henry and White stay in the backfield together, and then the throw underneath is complete. It's to Bennett. And Drew Bennett, first down, knocked out of bounds at about the 13. And the fans with a Drew. Hawkins, the tackler.
Well, how often do you see in this league, though, the first guy take down a player? Well, it usually happens on a good defense, and this is a good defense. But Asante Samuel just gets and that's just the way it happens when you're working against a big physical receiver like Drew Bennett.
Drew Bennett, always a long shot to play the game, was a walk-on at UCLA as a quarterback, was undrafted as a wide receiver, and has become a solid player in the big leagues. First down for Tennessee, trying to draw within 2. Young to the sidelines, incomplete. Roydell Williams the target. Well, here are the games that impact the Tennessee hopes of making it on the wild card basis. They need Pittsburgh to win, and heading to the 4th quarter, the Steelers are ahead. They need Kansas City to win, and they have a sizable lead against Jacksonville with 6 minutes plus left in the 3rd out at Arrowhead, and later they would need Denver to lose to San Francisco at home. But the big issue is for them to win right here, and the fans will not know those scores because Jeff Fisher has ordered that he didn't want to be distracted by other games.
He doesn't want his players or his fans distracted. And what's the example he cited? Wasn't it at Pittsburgh? No, he was in New York, and they flashed up. They were playing in New York, and they flashed up the World Series score during a football game. No, it was I'm sorry, it was a playoff game a couple of years ago against New England, and they flashed up the White Sox. I mean, the Red Sox, the White Sox.
I'll let you dig your way out of this.
No kidding. You got a backhoe?
The point is, he didn't want the fans to be cheering other scores right in the middle of a play that would distract his team. There's a good throw on the run to Bobby Wade, and Wade has become more and more a go-to receiver. Short patterns. The former Chicago Bear is hit by Ellis Hobbs, and they spot the ball inside the 10.
Well, of all the bad places on the field we've had today, they might be in the worst one as Baronis gets ready here. So it's worth watching. Everything from about the waist down on the kicker, that plant foot and everything. We've
seen an extra point blocked and a easy field goal missed from this spot. They're going to put it down at the 17, so a 27-yard attempt for Barones. Like kicking out of the bottom of the Cumberland River. See how well his footing holds this time. And it's right down the middle. So Barones connects with 7:05 left in the third. The Titans pull within 6. Their logo, there's the 3 stars to represent East, Central, and West, and Memphis, Nashville, Knoxville. Have your compass out if you join us. 19-13, New England's lead, and Barones nails an end-over-end kick to Ellis Hobbs at the 4. And Hobbs weaving his way all the way out across the 35 to the 39-yard line. Well done by Hobbs. And we've got a timeout, 6:58 remaining in the third. Listen to this crowd. They've just announced the scores that impact the possibilities for Jacksonville to get in the playoffs, and the fans really came to life. And here's Brady unloading long for Caldwell. He breaks the tackle at the 10. He's in the end zone for a touchdown. And talk about extinguishing the noise with one big play. Ronaldo Hill beaten by Riche Caldwell as Brady hits him from 62 yards.
You know, Dick, just about the time you figured with Adam Jones went down, let's test that ankle. He goes the exact opposite way, and Riche Caldwell from the get-go gets Hill. Hill doesn't get the bump, bottom of the screen, just playing soft and off. Just does barely get an arm on him, but Riche Caldwell runs right by him. Tom Brady threw the ball a little bit flat and behind Caldwell, but that was a great combination and perfect play call by Belichick and McDaniels.
Gostkowski's extra point try is good, and it's a 26-13 lead for New England as Riche Caldwell, a number 2 pick 4 years ago by San Diego. Big man with speed, and twice he's gotten open deep, and this one good for a 62-yard Patriot score. 6:49 left in the third. So the Tennessee Titans pulled within 6 on the 27-yard field goal by Barones. They kick it off, and on the first play, Tom Brady hits Riche Caldwell for a 62-yard scoring play. Here's a little end-over-end, trying to keep it away from Pac-Man. Jones has it anyway at the 25 to 30, 35, 45, and all the way to midfield. He is something, isn't he? They're doing everything they can to throw off Pac-Man Jones to be able to time it on a return in the air. And Jeff Fisher is saying there's a flag down on the field, and there is.
Hey, you just can't react. These guys have got to get a clue. If you do something, you're always going to be the second guy reacting. And if you react, you're going to get a flag.
That last drive was 45 yards inspired by 3 personal fouls for the Patriots. Only 23 yards on their own for Tennessee. Let's see how this one goes. Antoine Spann, 31, appeared to be in the midst of it all. Artrell Hawkins was aiding and abetting as well, but let's get the decision.
After the play was over, unnecessary roughness, Tennessee, number 33. He made the first action. 15-yard penalty. Tennessee keeps the ball.
Wow.
How often do you hear that?
That is a new one. The first one out, number 32, wow. Pac-Man Jones is ticketed for the foul.
Another myth bites the dust because they don't always miss the first guy. They got the first guy. Pac-Man with a little poke in the face mask of Spann, and Spann reacted second, but they're going to call that. It don't look like much, but like we keep telling you, they've got a pretty good lid on this thing right now, and they're not going to tolerate any garbage.
When are the players going to understand that? Jeff Fisher thinks that it's against New England, but it is not, and that negates part of the yardage. Takes it back to the 34-yard line. Young loads up a long one, but it's short on the throw. What a catch! Brandon Jones down to the 12. Oh, my.
That turned it into kind of anything you can do, I can do better. If Brady and the Patriots want to just chunk it deep and let their guy go get it, I mean, that is the definition of just sort of chunking it up. Asante Samuel, though, is normally a guy that's really good at reacting to the ball in the air, and he just gets out-timed by Brandon Jones. Artrell Hawkins comes in there and makes that tackle.
53 yards for the acrobatic catch of Brandon Jones. Was not a good pass. He just outleaped a terrific defender, Asante Samuel, to make the catch. Young runs it up the middle and has tackled a good, quick reaction. Usually that's Teddy Bruschi country, but it was Mike Wright who was able to trail the play and show his quickness, grab Young from behind.
See, that's the value of being in your rush lanes if you're a defensive lineman, especially a nose guard. And because you've got an active quarterback, not only is it important to pinch from the outside to keep him in the pocket, your D lineman up front, especially your nose guard, have to be ready to come off a block and prevent him from scrambling up inside.
His running, Young's, has punished other teams, not New England today. Only a yard on that. Here comes Henry. And yards after contact, that's been his MO, and Henry down to the 9 before Colvin could get him to this soggy turf.
You know, Dick, it bears mentioning that, yeah, Vince Young and them haven't done a lot on the ground, but it's not the fourth quarter yet. This football team doesn't really come alive and come away. It's like kids going out on the weekends. They don't go out until 11 or 12 o'clock at night, and this offense and the defense doesn't get going until about 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, the Titans in their 6-game win streak have 4 fourth-quarter comeback wins. On third down, Young, incomplete. Trying a flag, no. Trying to hit Bo Escape, the tight end, who played his ball at Texas with Vince Young, as did tight end David Thomas of the New England Patriots.
Watch Sanders, 36, here working against Bo Scaife. Remember, no contact pass 5 yards down the field. And I'd say that was no contact of any real. I mean, they might call a personal foul for pushing a guy like that today, but not pass interference.
So the busy Rob Baronis back for another field goal. He's hit 2 short ones, missed another. This one 27 yards. And it is just good. Slides it inside that right upright. And it's a 26-16 score. Action elsewhere. Let's switch quickly to New York and James Brown.
Hey, Dick and Randy, you know Cincinnati needs a win and a Jets loss to get in. Take a look at Carson Palmer. Hook it up here with Chris Henry. Boy, he puts some nice moves on here to take it 66 yards to pay dirt. Palmer passes Boomer Esiason for the single-season passing record and a 10-7 Cincy lead in the 4th. Dick and Randy.
All right, JB, and that's not the result the Titan fans are looking for as Cincinnati moves ahead by 3. And Tennessee needs to win and hope that Cincinnati would lose that game to Pittsburgh, and then later Denver would lose at home against San Francisco.
Well, Tennessee just got to hope and pray that Pittsburgh and Bill Cowher have just a little bit of that 2006 on-the-road magic left.
Well, what did Bill Cowher said? We'd like to have company in our misery. So he sent the Steelers into Cincinnati looking for a win. Now, too many field goals for Jeff Fisher's Titans today. They've been down inside the 15 on several occasions and not able to punch it into the end zone, and that's been one of the strengths of this New England team. They are just so tough in the red zone defensively. 27-yard field goal by Baronis with a big play, of course, the long pass to Brandon Jones of 53 yards. Here's that bunch formation, and then as Baronis approaches the ball, they deploy. Ellis Hobbs back to the goal line. Tackle at the 25, breaks out of that to the 30, and another solid return, and then a tackle out of bounds. Looks for the flag. There is none. More scores and action coming into New York. Let's go right back to JB.
A Detroit team that's playing like a world beater. John Kitna, excellent afternoon. 3 touchdown tosses. This one here to Mike Furry, 13 yards on top of Dallas, 30-24. If Dallas loses, Philadelphia wins the East. Back to Dick and Randy.
And if Detroit wins, JB, the Raiders apparently going down to defeat. The only bright spot in an Oakland season will be right to pick first in 2007.
You really think they're going to spend that much money? It'll have some great trade value, I guess. Courtney Roby, the backup tight end, wide receiver, got stepped on during that kickoff return.
Here's Roby is 82. Familiar name because he is related to Reggie Roby, the late punter.
Toby Buchwald, 52, the linebacker, landed right on his lower back.
4:17 left in the third and a 10-point New England lead. You say, would the Raiders be willing to spend the money? Just, I know you've been studying it. You love the draft, as so many do. Give me a couple of names. It'll be the first pick next year.
I mean, the burning need in Oakland, heck, the burning need in Oakland since they made the mistake of parting ways with Rich Gannon was quarterback. And they need a quarterback bad, and they can study it, and it might be Brady Quinn of Notre Dame. I mean, they might be able to see a kid like Colt Brennan, the kid from Hawaii that broke the record. He's got a year left of eligibility. Maybe they think a kid like that can come out. And how about a guy like Troy Smith? All he's done is score touchdowns, throw touchdown passes, and lead his team to a winning record. And a lot of people that think they know the formula draft-wise, Dick, are going to have to take a second look after, evaluating a guy like Vince Young. Maybe being able to win is a little bit more valuable than we all think about.
Now, fortunately, Roby not seriously hurt. You saw Matt Cassel on the sidelines. He's got the helmet on, anticipating. We talked with him yesterday. He said, I studied the smaller points of our game plan a little more carefully this week. I just have the premonition I'm going to see more action, but not so far.
You get old and retire waiting for Tom Brady not to want to play.
Lawrence Maroney, the tailback. Good return by Hobbs, gets the Patriots near the 40. Dumps the ball off incomplete. He had to get rid of it. Maroney was there, so no flag, and pressure by Vanden Bosch. And a reminder, folks, Thursday on CBS, it's an hour of television you won't forget. Grissom leaving CSI. Thursday at 9, 8 Central on CBS.
No Grissom. Oh, man. I like that show. I've watched that for years.
You told me last week you didn't like Grissom that much. Now you like him.
No, that's because he was in the room.
Second and 10.
Don't want his head to get too big. That Grissom can get a big hit on him.
Brady, the quick throw is incomplete out to Troy Brown. And pressure coming from Bullock. And Brady saw him out of the corner of his eye and wheeled and threw in a hurry. And it's been a game of hard hitting and post-whistle activity. Lots of penalties. That one was a personal foul. Some more serious than others, but the flags have been out to try to control the emotions of this one as the Tennessee Titans try to battle their way as a long shot into the playoffs. New England can either be a 3 or a 4 seed. They're assured of hosting next week in the wild card round. The throw incomplete. Intended for Jabbar Gaffney. Not much on that series for Brady in the New England offense.
That was some nice aggressive defense by Tennessee. And Jeff Fisher's club has got some bounce in their step. And if you have an eye on the scoreboard, well, the clock's on the scoreboard. And you got 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. And you got the whole fourth quarter to go. And this game is far, far from over at only a 10-point lead.
And look who's back. 280 return yards alone. Kickoff and punts today for Pac-Man. He's eaten up this wet, well-worn turf.
Could go over 350 on this one.
They're going to kick it to the sidelines. Yeah, they give in. They uncled up.
Sauerbrunn was going to kick that one out of bounds in front of him, or he was going to walk back to Foxborough.
That's right. You know what Belichick said. If he gets his hands on this one in fair territory, just keep right on going.
Right towards the tunnel. Just keep right on going out that tunnel.
And if that feeling in the backside of yours is, you might think it's my foot, it is. Coming up next, game 2 of our doubleheader here on CBS. Dolphins battle Peyton Manning and the Colts. The Bills will be taking on the Ravens. Game 2 of our doubleheader here on CBS. And this wild card invention has really promoted a lot of interest. Only 12 teams, the 32, were eliminated going into play today. Young lobs one up, incomplete at the 45-yard line for Bobby Wade. He was double teamed. Artrell Hawkins happy with the result, and Ellis Hobbs there as well. Well, there's your situation in the AFC with San Diego, Baltimore, Indianapolis, New England. They've all locked in their division titles, and San Diego has the bye. Baltimore, Indianapolis, New England. Still, there's some activity left on this Sunday to decide whether or not they'll get that bye into the second week. I think that's really huge, don't you, to get that not having to play that first game?
The rest is important, but if you're doing it for the rest, it's great. The bye week itself, I think, is getting to be a little bit overrated.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I think sometimes, and maybe that's just my reaction to Pittsburgh going 4 in a row last year, going on the road and winning the Super Bowl. But I've seen so many upsets in that divisional round, it seems, that I think if you're a coach like Bill Belichick, you're going to host a game then, great. Are you afraid of going on the road after that? I don't think so. But I love this system. And for those of those that call it mediocrity or parity or something else, I think it's fabulous because every fan for every team come the middle of this coming year can have a realistic expectation that their team could be a playoff team next year.
On 3rd and 9, Young rolling left. He usually goes right and throws on the run. Incomplete, and a flag is down. Brandon Jones was the target. There was pushing by both offense and defense. Ellis Hobbs' reaction indicates he didn't like what he might have heard.
There was some arm fighting going on. It was a little bit more than just hand fighting. It was arm fighting on the sideline.
Right in front of Belichick. Another big call against the Patriots.
An arm bar. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Remember earlier, Ronaldo Hill had an arm out, and Rashae Caldwell ran right through it. The left arm, guess they're calling that an arm bar. I don't know.
Both teams now are over 100 yards in penalties. 109 now for New England, and 112. Make that 112 for Tennessee. There you see it. Young fumbles, and it's recovered by the Titans. Mike Vrabel in there to scratch the ball loose from the quarterback.
Dick, another case of a linebacker. Now in this case, it's Vrabel coming from the outside. He's been at the inside linebacker. There he's at defensive end / linebacker. He won't let Young come through there. He's being blocked by Hartsock. He runs right through Hartsock and gets right into the quarterback's face, and Young can't get that corner.
Vrabel couldn't quite find a position as the 3rd round pick of the Steelers 9 years ago, but boy, they found the right spot for him in Belichick's defense. Linebacker inside, outside, defensive end. Throw to Roydell Williams, and Williams inside the 30, short of the first down as he is powered back by 4 New England tacklers led by James Sanders. And we understand Pittsburgh has scored at Cincinnati, so the Steelers are back in front 14-10. 5 minutes to go in that game. This is Brady and Young on this season. Well, in this game.
Yeah, just today. And, great rating by Brady, yada, yada. But I'll say it again. There's a minute and 50 seconds now in the 3rd quarter. Young does his best work in the 4th quarter. And it's not all just throwing the ball. These guys believe with him at quarterback, they will all find a way to win.
Key 3rd and 3 for Tennessee inside the 30-yard line of New England. Young. Nowhere to run, or is there? Yes, it is. Look at this big guy go. Touchdown. Oh, my.
Can you figure that one in the quarterback rating? They might have to find a way. That made Bill Belichick's defense. He had the theory that Young looked so good in the 4th quarter because the defenses were getting so tired. So he says, I'm going to play my guys and rotate them all game long so they don't get tired. I don't think they got tired. I just think there was too much Vince.
Long-legged, he doesn't appear to be running as fast as he is. 26 yards on the score. Barones to make it a 3-point game. 26-23. Vince Young scrambling for his 7th rushing touchdown this year.
And Dick, they're not going to let him. They're going to come from the edges. They're not going to let him get outside. But he looks. They stop him. He says, okay, you can't let me go outside. I'll go up the middle. And this is what you have to look at if you're trying to tackle a Vince Young. Good luck right now when he clears the first line of defense, and you've got to catch this guy one-on-one.
6'4" and 233 is Young, who first met Steve McNair, the former tight end quarterback, when he was in the 10th grade, and they've really become
you mean
good
Pops?
friends. Pops, yeah, he calls him Pops. Pops would like this. Young Pops used to do things like this. Remarkable strength and speed. Well, it was about a year ago when he showed the Southern California Trojans those kinds of moves in the Rose Bowl, the national championship game.
You know, and Dick, the Patriots were playing backups. That was Eric Alexander that missed that one tackle there. That was the key tackle that he really got through, number 52. And it's a backup, and he's keeping his guys fresh.
And he's in there for Teddy Bruschi. So Young pulls the Titans to within 3. And now it's Ellis Hobbs' turn, and he's come close to breaking a couple of long kickoff returns. He's been getting the ball out near the 40 on almost every try. End over end to the 3. 20, breaks the tackle. 25, flags down.
It's going to be a block in the back on Larry Izzo.
Well, it's awfully noisy in most of the NFL stadia, but when that flag is thrown, when you know you're guilty, you can actually hear it over the din when it lands on the ground. You can see Izzo.
Illegal block in the back, receiving team number 53. 10-yard penalty, New England's ball, first down.
Your new favorite name in the league, Cortland Finnegan.
That's Cortland Finnegan. You've seen the stars dance, and you've never seen them do this, folks. Real celebrities becoming real cops in the new reality series, Armed and Famous, premiering Wednesday, January 10th on CBS. Metaphorically armed and dangerous, these two quarterbacks. Tom Brady with some long passing plays today, including a long touchdown, and of course the arms and the arm and legs of Vince Young. And listen to this crowd. Dillon, good job. The veteran is finally horse wrestled down at the 20-yard line by Lamont Thompson, but a good gain. Nearly a first down, might be a first down. Understand the Jets now. You saw the score roll through. Jets have won. They have locked in their playoff ticket. We'll see how that all sorts out in the matchups next week in the wild card games. And their decision and announcement will be made probably by the end of our second game of our CBS doubleheader. So stay with us throughout the day. The second game should be good ones, and then we'll have kind of like the Final Four or the March Madness, and who will play home. Dillon on first down. Takes a couple, 3 Titans to get the bulky running back down at the 23-yard line. Well, the latest playoff picture, the Jets are in Denver in position with Cincinnati, Tennessee, and Kansas City on the outside, a game back. Denver would have to lose. Should they beat San Francisco, then the AFC wild card picture is set. End of the third quarter. New England 26, Tennessee 23. We'll return after this message and a word from your local station. Here in Nashville, Tennessee, on this sloggy, wet field. Fortunately, it has not rained in the second half. Most of the rain starting around 11 o'clock this morning here in Nashville. Forecast was for more, but sunny skies at the moment as we open the fourth period with the Tennessee Titans needing a victory to keep these fans' hopes for a wild card flickering alive, trailing New England 26-23. Brady still in at quarterback. Hit as he throws. Incomplete, but for a loss as Maroney caught the ball. Thornton caught Maroney.
And that's the same David Thornton, playing with a bad shoulder. Came here as a free agent from Indianapolis last year and hasn't really played at full speed for, I think, most of this season. He's going to probably need a little surgery, I would think, but good initial pressure on the blitz coming, making Brady dump it quick. And you talk about a nose for the football. David Thornton has a nose for the football.
And he brought a lot of that Indianapolis linebacker speed to this Tennessee defense. Over 100 tackles on the year. Second to Keith Bullock. Third down and a dozen. Big play here for New England. Looking down the middle, lots of time, and he's going long for Troy Brown. Incomplete. Broken up by Ronaldo Hill. Hill, in fact, had a chance at the interception, and should he have caught it, it would have been about the equal to a good punt. They'd rather have Pac-Man in there.
Well, Ronaldo Hill turned into a wide receiver there the last 5 yards. Troy Brown broke it up.
Chris Hope and not Hill at the climax of that play, as Hope, the former Pittsburgh Steeler, and a big unrestricted free agent pickup by this Tennessee team this year. Now here it is again. Sauerbrunn kicking. Pac-Man Jones. And here's the boot. Short end over end. Just pooched it down. And it works effectively. Gets by Jones, and he has to wave it goodbye in frustration, and it will down at the 24-yard line. Well, maybe that's the way.
Todd might have a seat on the plane yet.
Long game. We're almost at the 3-hour mark, and yet 14 minutes remaining. Felicia Young, mother of Vince, raised her son in Houston, Texas. Quarterbacked the national championship team a year ago and has to spend a timeout here. Could not quite get the play off. It's 26-23 New England. From Broadway in downtown Nashville to LP Field early in the fourth quarter. 26-23 New England. And Tennessee with the ball. A screen complete to Hall, the fullback. And Hall out across the 25 to the 26, tackled by Tully Banta-Keen. Vince Young, number 10 on his uniform, and he wears that in honor of his mother, Felicia. It's her birthday, June 10th, and by pulling on that 1-0 every day, he thinks of Mom. And a nice tribute to a woman so strong in his development and support as a great athlete. Travis Henry, the tailback. And on second and long, he's wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. Wrestled down by Mike Wright. Good play by the nose tackle. Let's go to JB.
Hey, Dick and Randy, Cincinnati trying to help its own cause. Take a look here. Carson Palmer hooking up with Tony Stewart. That touchdown strike putting Cincy on top by 3 late in the fourth. And the Jets have clinched the playoff spot as well impressively today. Back to Dick Enberg, Randy Cross.
All right, JB, the drama for the playoffs continues. Tennessee needs to win. Cincinnati to lose. There are only 2 minutes left in that game. And Denver to lose to San Francisco. Wide open is Drew Bennett. Eludes the tackler at the 35, out to the 40, and a first down. Right back to JB in New York.
Hey, Dick and Randy, take a look here. Tony Romo hooking up with who? T.O. Hey, Randy, guess what? He held on to the ball. 56-yard strike for the score there. Dallas up by 1. And, oh, by the way, the Giants have officially clinched the playoff spot as well. Dick and Randy.
Yeah, quite a day, JB, for the fans of the Big Apple. Both the Giants and Jets have locked up playoff spots. And Owens locked onto the ball. There's Henry. And nothing there at all as Roosevelt Colvin shut off the edge. So the NFC picture is set with Chicago, New Orleans, Philadelphia, Seattle all in as division leaders. Well, that's not really set yet for Philadelphia. They need to win the division, but they're in. And Dallas and the Giants. So the NFC East have 3 of the 6 spots.
Well, it'll be in if John Kitna brings Detroit back and throws a touchdown. And then Dallas losing would make Philadelphia the NFC East champs.
That John Kitna playing like the second coming of Bobby Lane down there in Dallas. Lendell White now the tailback. Young sees running room and then he throws. Incomplete. What a defensive play by Asante Samuel, streaking cross field to deny Brandon Jones, who appeared to be wide open.
Well, there's an old saying in football, green grass means haul something. Well, you know, Vince Young might have wanted to run there because he's throwing into coverage. He's got that ability to get those extra yards. He's got all that green grass in front of him. Just take advantage of it, take the yards, and don't expose the ball to trouble.
You hear that expression, a cornerback's closing speed? You just saw it personified by Asante Samuel.
Those are those ball skills of the ball in the air we talked about earlier.
On 3rd and long, Young goes long. Intercepted. Samuel, his 9th of the year, at the 15, at the 30. Whoa, down he goes. And look who made the tackle. Vince Young.
The only Titan on the field running full speed was the quarterback. Going to make the tackle. Look at that's my baby.
You never quit. Look at Young downfield to make the tackle. With 11 minutes left, Tom Brady with the helmet off. He's given way to Matt Cassel. He stands there next to veteran Vinny Testaverde. Kevin Mawai said that Testaverde is the brightest football player that he's ever been associated with. What a compliment. All right, Lawrence Maroney. Cassel throws incomplete. Cassel on the money to Riche Caldwell, but Ronaldo Hill, good defensive play.
Well, watch Vince Young the whole way, and then he's just going to accelerate.
Coverage by Ronaldo Hill.
Just incredible effort. Just one slight little tiny thing wrong with it. I love the effort. It's fabulous. Jeff Fisher and Norm Chow and company have got to go, you know, Vince, that's your throwing arm. Don't expose your throwing arm to that kind of abuse, but that's the kind of full-speed player he is.
Undoing the mistake on the interception, wanted to make the tackle himself. Here's an end around to Chad Jackson, and Jackson out to the 35 to 40, and finally run out of bounds near the 45, and a flag goes down.
Yeah, there was some holding and pushing in the back going on, I think.
Pac-Man Jones finally made the tackle.
Holding, offense, number 19. 10-yard penalty from the foul. He keeps stepping down.
The other wide receiver, Kelvin Kite, who was a teammate of Chad Jackson at the University of Florida. So that'll take the ball back, marked from the 37 back to the 27.
And this is a young quarterback here, Dick, that I personally think has got a lot of potential. A guy that he may never, and like everyone says from the Patriots, we love him. We think Matt Cassel can be truly special, and we hope he never plays.
There's the hold by Kite. Had a piece of jersey, and that's an automatic.
Well, he had the good part of the whole left side of the jersey.
Shotgun on 2nd and 14. Cassel tastes the dirt. Kyle Vanden Bosch and Albert Hainsworth.
There's Kyle Vanden Bosch coming from this near side, 93. Working against Nick Kazur, doing a great job. That is all effort. I mean, all 100% effort. And that wasn't Kazur, that was O'Callahan, the rookie. And he treated him like a rookie.
So in a 3-point game, it's 3rd down and 21. Matt Cassel, who is fresh if nothing else. He hasn't been able to throw. You see Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, 17. And Heath Evans barreling his way out to the 35. A good gain, but 6 yards shy of a first down. So the punting team comes on, and Tennessee will have another chance with the clock ticking down to 9:40.
So now, if Dick, this is what we've seen the last couple punts from Todd Sauerbrunn, you think it's like low rolling on the left side of the field or low rolling on the right side of the field?
Well, Jeff Fisher figuring they might try it again. He brings out Bobby Wade as well. Wonder if Wade might play more of an up back. They keep switching, and then Pac-Man Jones might come sneaking up and anticipating a short kick. Ends up out of play, well out of play, as Sauerbrunn kicking to the sidelines, and the fans let the Patriots know how much they dislike that, understandably, but a good ploy. They just can't afford to give Jones another chance in the open field. 9:15 to go. And welcome back to LJ Field. 9:15 remaining in the 4th quarter. And the Titans with the ball at their own 30-yard line. Sauerbrunn kicking purposely out of bounds. 35-yard punt, but no return by Pac-Man Jones. And here's Young going to work off play action. Down the middle, has a man. Incomplete. Off the hands of tight end Bo Scaife. And he may have heard footsteps as Artrell Hawkins was lining him up.
Dick, you know, Floyd Reese has done a very nice job, he and Jeff Fisher in the scouting department, of restocking this club that got basically blown up after that 2004 playoff loss to the New England Patriots in Foxborough. They spent 04 in sort of cap purgatory, then 05 in another cap-imposed suspension era kind of for Jeff Fisher, but they really need to address the receiver positions to really improve this offense.
But they've got so much youth and talent at many spots. Incomplete again to Scaife, the tight end, and Young blames himself for a low throw.
But in spite of not having the greatest of receivers or production from the passing game at times, look at what they've done. I mean, they were down 21-0 here to the New York Giants. Came back and beat them. Just last week in Buffalo. How fabulous. You know, Drew Bennett talking about that run at the end of the first half. You know, Vince Young ran it in for a touchdown from way out, and Bennett says, I just stood there and watched him and said, no, he's not going all the way with this.
Yeah, he did the play-by-play for us. I was all alone in the end zone. I didn't do anything. I'd say, he can't pop. You can't. Yeah. Wow, he's going to score. Young steps away, but cannot elude Teddy Bruschi and Tulla Bantakane. Tulla Bantakane was putting the pressure on along with Ty Warren.
And that's what you have to do with this young quarterback is you see the pinchers from the outside won't let him escape that way. And Tully Bantakane and Wright and Warren were very good with those lanes inside, hemming him in and not letting him loose.
So an uneventful opportunity there for Tennessee, and they'll have to give it up now on Craig Hendrick's punt with Troy Brown and Chad Jackson stacked up. He drives a spiral to Jackson. 25. Has some blockers. 35. 50. 40. And finally knocked out of bounds near the 35-yard line by the punter Hendrick. We have seen some returns on kicks today. If you're just joining us, here's a look at the scoring summary after Tennessee took a 3-0 lead. A 21-yard dash by Corey Dillon to give New England a 9-3 advantage. Dillon from 1 yard out added to the lead. Then Tennessee came back. Pac-Man Jones before halftime. 81 yards for the touchdown, his third punt return score. Richey Caldwell, his longest catch as a pro, 62 yards. And then Vince Young, another patented scramble by the big quarterback, 28 yards for a touchdown. And now New England with Corey Dillon running to the left. Gets a yard into the arms of Kyle Vanden Bosch.
What a smart run by Corey Dillon there. Just see him go through the outside. Blocking was good. Bounce it outside, head towards the sideline, and stop. And go to try to cut it back. Would not go out of bounds. And that's just a veteran running back knowing that don't stop the clock. Get the yards you can. But whatever you do, keep this clock moving.
Dillon wearing the marks of this rainy day in Tennessee, although it's been sunshiny the last half hour or so.
Oh, this is the Patriots kind of field. They've got artificial turf now, but they're used to these conditions.
Second down and 4. Cassel, the quarterback. Back to Dillon. And Dillon bowls his way close to the first down at the 31-yard line. Peter Sermon, the middle linebacker, with the tackle. Sermon, who's moved inside this year, played outside his first 6 NFL seasons. College ball at Oregon. 3rd and 1. Dillon rested. Maroney ducks his head into the puddle. Here's the speedster from Minnesota. Has 672 yards coming in. Speed to get outside, and does he ever? And there he goes. Maroney to the end zone. No, pushed out of bounds inside the 5 by Lamont Thompson. Oh, does he have that extra gear? He said, smiling through disappointment there. He thought he had 6.
You could take almost every single point that's been put on the board today and attribute it to some form of special teams, either the kickers or the return yards. Heath Evans gets a wonderful block out in front. Neal got a nice block pulling out there. But you don't need to give Lawrence Maroney a gigantic amount of space to run in. And, he just had the whole left side of the field.
31 yards on the run by Maroney. 1st and goal at the 2 for New England. They bring in an extra tight end, an extra lineman, give it to Maroney, big hole. He's hit right at the goal line, in for a touchdown. Tom Brady now reduced to the role of cheerleader on the New England sidelines. And in a 3-point game, the New England Patriots feed off the long runs of Maroney and Dillon, and on a 1-yard effort, Maroney has the touchdown.
Well, that's just that offensive line up front. They protect Tom Brady so well, and the blocking for Dillon and Maroney is just stellar at times today. And they've given both these running backs some gigantic soft spots to run in.
Gostowski for the extra point. And it's good. 33-23. New England builds its lead to 10 with 6:40 to go. And here's the blocking in front of Maroney.
That wasn't a huge hole. That was just a soft spot. And it was just enough of a crease, enough of an area to get 6. And Tom Brady knows against a team like this how huge his 10-point lead is with 6:40 to go.
But there's something else about Brady as well that is so attractive, and that is the fact that it's almost as if he could be playing this game out on a sandlot or back in his high school. It's just winning. Just the idea of that his team is winning the game. All is lost in terms of the fluff around being a superstar. Brady just loves to play.
That is a key trait in 100% of the truly great quarterbacks. I think it's also a key trait in almost 100% of anybody that plays that position.
You played with one. You played with one.
Montana, Young, Elway, Marino, Boomer back in the studio. I'll just go down the list. They are so competitive. They want to win at everything.
Well, he didn't win in the prankster category this past week as we look at the Patriots in the postseason. And who wants to play New England in the playoff? Look at that 10-1.
Ouch.
And they used the turnovers to build that victory string. And, of course, the 3 Super Bowl wins here in this last decade.
Dick, I talked about special teams earlier. 469-yard return yards in this game between these two teams, with this one still to go.
Look at this pop fly. Comes down to one of the up men for New England. It's the tight end Hartzog and for the Tennessee Titans, and he takes it out to about the 38-yard line. Just a quick follow-up on the practical joking going on this week in New England. Poor Matt Cassel, who comes on the field, said that Brady was inspired to block up his car, and he came into the locker room and found 3 of his tire wheels in front of his locker. And then Brady the next day goes to his car, and they filled it full of those plastic peanuts that you use to
packing
peanuts, and then put confetti in his air conditioning system. So when he turned that on, it was blowing all over the car. Quick throw outside is to Wade. A little flanker screen and out to the 45-yard line. A gain of Santa Kane with a tackle.
Well, very important now for this Patriot defense to enjoy the success the offense just had, but you better pay attention to who you're playing. You know, this is a team that believes deeply that 10 points with 6 minutes to go is absolutely nothing. It's no hill for a climber.
Fisher said last week in the 4th quarter in Buffalo, we got them right where we want them. We're down by 9 going into the last quarter. Pass is complete to Hartzog for a first down. He's out near midfield. Only his 5th catch of the season. Former Indianapolis Colt. And the clock running under 6 minutes to go. And the Bengals and Steelers are now in overtime. Young has it batted in the air and complete. Roosevelt Colvin there to block the attempt by Young. Well, Randy, this is the crosstalk. You started today, and how's it all come out?
Well, prepare for the playoffs your way. I think the defense has done some pretty good work. Obviously, they've struggled at times, but you wanted to come out with momentum, which you might have had, and you wanted to come out healthy, which we know they did. But something happened to Rodney Harrison, and that really hurts this defense.
Had a leg injury in the first half, has not returned. Young does get the pass off to Henry as he saves the sack, and then Henry moves down to the 47-yard line. As Young hit by Roosevelt Colvin and somehow had the strength to be able to at least flip it off to his running back, as we saw earlier in the game, able to throw the ball almost a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar long hook shot into the end zone almost for a touchdown.
Remember, you said 6'5", 240. Matthias Kulinuka, the rookie defensive end from the Giants, had him around the waist, couldn't tackle.
3rd and 7. 3rd and 7. There we go. Looks and throws it away. This time, no one open. Well, this is a critical 4th down and 7 with 5 minutes left in the game. How does Jeff Fisher play it? He's sending out Hendrick, the punter. Fans, of course, won't like that. Down by 10.
Well, what you're really doing here is you're putting this game on your defense, saying, guys, right here, our kicker's going to put this thing out inside the 10-yard line. You've got to stop him.
Unless it's a fake, and Hendrick.
Well, he is the emergency quarterback, the 3rd guy in a severe emergency.
No, Tennessee has to burn a timeout. That's their team down by 10, leaves them with only one, with 5:01 left on the clock. And Jeff Fisher, perhaps with second thoughts, looks as if he's going to send his offense back on the field.
Well, he sent the punt team out there, and what he was looking at was the first team defense, because they weren't going to put the punt return team back. They were just going to put one guy back there to catch the punt maybe, but Bill Belichick was going to keep full time. He was going to have nothing but defense out in front of that team, so they might as well run. You might as well have this play here. Why wouldn't you?
So Belichick just anticipating, if you're going to fake, well, you're going to have to beat our best players. They're staying on the field. Quite a chess game, isn't it?
Yeah. I guess you're better off going for it on 4th down with your offense and trying to fool nobody with your punt team on 4th.
Well, 4th and 7. The ball is at the New England 47. But in the meantime, a lost timeout, leaving Tennessee with only one.
Very key. Keep Vince Young in the pocket if you're New England. You let him out, you will suffer the consequences.
Ooh, that could have been a false start. Young going long. Incomplete. Brandon Jones, who had a spectacular leaping catch when well covered earlier in this half, unable to pull this one down away from Artrell Hawkins. So taking over on downs, New England Patriots, and an unhappy young quarterback heads to the sidelines.
But there's something to learn here. I think that when they take the chance, Vince Young, Norm Chow, the offensive coordinator, who I think is one of the better guys in the business with these young quarterbacks, and everybody in this organization, they'll learn, because Bill Belichick knows how to stop offenses. And this will ultimately be a real learning experience for this offense and this quarterback.
So Matt Cassel, who's seen so little duty throughout his collegiate and professional career, gives to Corey Dillon, and Dillon wrapped up at the 49-yard line. And more scores coming into New York. Let's go back to our studios in JB.
Hey, Dick and Randy, in overtime, all knotted at 17. Steelers come away with the win when Roethlisberger hooks up with Santonio Holmes, 67 yards to pay dirt. Steelers win it. Cincinnati out of the playoffs. Steelers in the season at 8-8. Is it Bill Cowher's last? Back to Dick and Randy.
Yeah, that'll be the lingering question, won't it, James? Will Bill Cowher stay in Pittsburgh? That'll be resolved. But the Steelers play to victory, and that helps the fading hopes of the Tennessee Titans as Dillon now rams his way into Titan territory to the 45-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and 1. And Tennessee can ill afford to let Dillon and the running game take over here for New England and just chew up the clock. And the Patriots are as good as any team in the league in doing just that.
Jeff Fisher told us he actually called Bill Cowher this week and wished him the best of luck with his decision he had to make. He says, and by the way, beat Cincinnati for me too, will you?
A little ulterior motive. So 3rd down and 1 for New England. Dillon stays in. Keith Evans, the fullback. And Cassel sneaks it straight ahead and picks up almost 5 yards down to the 40. And a new set of downs, and the clock runs. Peter Sermon finally got Cassel to the ground.
Nice job by Dan Copen. Just a quick little squeeze from the quarterback, telling the center that it's going to be a sneak. And this just in, playoff teams between Brady and Cassel, if you get in short yardage, you might want to defense that sneak, because last 2 weeks they haven't done it very well against the Patriots.
The others have supported. Pittsburgh needed to beat Cincinnati and Kansas City to beat Jacksonville for Tennessee to have hope, but the Titans had to take care of business on their own, and they haven't at this point. They're down by 10. Dillon stays in, and the clock runs, and only one timeout and the 2-minute warning for Tennessee. Dillon picking his way, and so tough to dislodge the ball from the big man who played his college ball at Washington. And there is the final timeout exercised by Tennessee.
It's funny to see Corey Dillon and this team running the ball this way. Isn't this a flashback to Gillette Stadium? And with this exact same kind of, this is the kind of field they had, is one of the reasons they currently have the artificial surface.
2 touchdowns running for Dillon, and the other by the man he just embraced, Lawrence Maroney. And this field that shows the late season wear. That's, you know, backs like Dillon just look at this and they salivate when they see conditions like this. Big guys getting to run where the defense doesn't get great footing, but you know where you're going and you've got the power to move the pile. There's their contributions today: 67 for Dillon, 73 for Maroney. They're counting for all 3 touchdowns.
That's the definition of sharing. Both with 12 carries and both receiving some pretty nice blocking up front. I think if there's an underrated group of this Patriots football team over the last, 5, 6, 7 years, it's been that offensive line. Year in, year out, Dante Scarnecchia, their coach, and this offensive line is just the foundation of the football team.
Corey Dillon takes the ball with him as he heads to the sidelines. I wonder what that means. Maroney, you don't take a ball with you as a souvenir after a 3-4 yard run. Vanden Bosch makes the tackle here, and we'll tick it down to the 2-minute warning. As they celebrate over there in New England with this win, high marks for this New England team. Many thought they'd come in here and say, well, it's like a preseason game. What difference does it make, win or lose? If we don't win, it's not a big deal. We're still going to have a home game next week. But they have played with real spirit, and the quality that has made them Super Bowl champions reflected in their effort today. 2 minutes to go. A 10-point lead, Tennessee. And now we know why Dillon took the ball off the field as he's being congratulated. Maroney, part of the celebration. We'll give you that information. Vinny Testaverde, now the quarterback, cleaned it up. And look at the clean jersey. He does stand out. And he throws a pass. Incomplete through Troy Brown's hands. And we'll quickly go to New York and James Brown.
Hey, Dick and Randy, Dallas trailing by 8, looking for a touchdown on a 2-point conversion on 4th and goal. Romo, no one open, takes it himself, comes up short. Detroit upends Dallas, so Philadelphia wins the East. Dallas is now a 5 seed. NFC all over. Back to Dick and Randy.
So the National Conference, thanks James, all established, and back to Dillon. He has over 63 yards today, and he needed that to move into 14th place all time against a man he watched growing up, O.J. Simpson. He moves ahead of O.J., number 14 all-time rushing. That's why he kept the ball. Quick pass is complete to Chad Jackson, being chased down the sidelines, but not until he's inside the 20, 15, 14-yard line. Jackson's had some good plays today.
Flags.
And Vinny Testaverde with flags down. Perhaps his last ever NFL duty, signed in mid-season by Bill Belichick as the 3rd quarterback for New England, and the Patriots would love to see him get another touchdown to make it 20 straight years.
Defense number 53, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Now the spirited Keith Bullock, the linebacker, who tried to inspire his team with that pregame talk, guilty of the foul, and that'll move it into 1st and goal position from the 15. They'll mark it down to around the 7.5.
Trying to make it 20 seasons in a row with a touchdown pass. It's hard enough for, I can't imagine going to a game for 20 straight years.
Tie your shoes right for 20 straight years. So we'll see whether or not that's part of the plan for the Patriots, just to give that statistic to the likable quarterback, now 43 years of age. Heisman winner 20 years ago at the University of Miami, Florida. 1:50 to go. Yeah, he's going to throw for it. Over the middle. Touchdown, Troy Brown.
Look at the whole offense coming to him.
Look at this. Look at them come off the bench to hug Testaverde. Chris Hope, the safety, was on the coverage, and that's just what camaraderie and being on a team is all about.
Yeah, I don't think on the other sideline Jeff Fisher is quite as happy for Vinny Testaverde.
No, but he understands the spirit of it all.
He may eventually.
Be an interesting handshake at the end of the game.
Yeah. I mean, this is a little bit interesting, and I don't think he's real happy about it. But it does give Vinny 20 years in a row with a touchdown pass. And first is Thomas, and then Evans and Brady, and the whole group gets in there.
Keith Bullock receiving a lot of taunts from the far sidelines as he went off the field, and he now gesturing, "Come on over and get me." Rashay Caldwell leading the cheers as the extra point is hooked but good by Gostkowski. And that isn't rubbing in so much as just serving up a favor to a man who has been such a top pro in this league now for 20 years, the touchdown pass every year. Bullock,
tell him that.
Yeah.
Tell Keith Bullock that. I don't think you would quite get that kind of reaction out of Keith Bullock.
So the New England Patriots hardly came in here taking this game lightly. They played to win, and they're going to go home with their victory. As you look at the NFC, the 6 teams that are locked into the playoffs with Dallas and New York Giants as the wild cards.
And the real kicker in here is the 3 and 4 seeding. You know, can Philadelphia finish with that 10-6 record? It's going to be an interesting playoff season, especially I think in the AFC.
Well, Chicago and New Orleans will have the weekend off going into the new year. And the AFC picture still in some doubt, although the teams that needed to win for Tennessee delivered early, but the Titans could not do what was necessary win here at home. San Diego, Baltimore have the byes next week. New England and Indianapolis will host games. Jets and Denver in position for the wild card.
Well, you remember,
Jets
Dick,
are in.
Earlier in the year, Indy beat the Patriots at Foxborough, so that's why they're rooting for Miami to pull that off and give them that 3 seed, because without that they'll be the 4 seed.
Pooched it down, does Gostkowski. Pac-Man Jones, one last chance. Trying to pick up blockers, cannot. Retreats and loses yardage back to the 23-yard line. Tackled by Kelvin Kite. It's the first game of our CBS doubleheader. Miami at Indianapolis already underway, and Buffalo at Baltimore as well. As this game, one of the longest of the season, 3.5 hours long. And the Tennessee Titans do send out Vince Young to quarterback here with 1:39 left in the game, and New England already putting this victory in the bank. And it was interesting talking with Bill Belichick. He wouldn't give us any hint as to how he would play it in terms of substitutions. He just said, all I know is I don't care about the other teams. I have to care about my own team, do what's right. Young down the middle. And it's complete to Roydell Williams out to the 41 and a first down. The executive producers of the NFL on CBS are Sean McManus and Tony Petitti. Today's game produced by Bob Monsbach. Directed by Suzanne Smith, the senior producer of CBS Sports. And the NFL Today is Eric Mann, and the director is Bob Matina. As Young hurries it to Ben Hartsock, and the tight end to the 40 and down to the 36-yard line. Clock running, 1:04. Tennessee with no timeouts left. Well, credits also to our associate directors of today's game, Corey Fishman and John Paquette. Broadcast associates Julie Landa and Neil Patel. Technical manager is Doug Fleetum, and technical director Chris Romanek. Audio supervisor Dave Grunvig. Young, quick throw, Hartsock intercepted over the hands of Hartsock, and Samuel has his second pick of the day and runs it over to the sidelines. That's 10 for the season. He started 1 behind Champ Bailey for the league lead, and at the moment there is the leading pass interceptor in the NFL. Asante Samuel has double figures.
And a touch of class too, just taking the ball, running out of bounds, and not taking any more action down the field. I like that. That's a smart thing. And Vince Young made a bad decision, overthrew it and paid the price. And against a good defense like that, he will always pay the price. He's got to learn this.
And finally, we want to genuflect to our statisticians, Butch Baird and Sean Glenn, Mike Burton, our season spotter, and our choreography today from Brendan Cross. And New Year's bow to all of our men and women, CBS Sports technical and production team, for their superb efforts throughout the year. Many, many thanks to you all. It's been a terrific 2006. Can't wait for the new year, and I hope it's a happy one to all. It is for these New England Patriots, if not the Titans. Final score, the Patriots 40 and the Titans 23, and bring on the playoffs in Game 2 of our CBS doubleheader. Coming up next, Dolphins and the Colts, or you'll see the Bills face the Ravens. For Randy Cross, Dick Enberg, Happy New Year from Nashville, Tennessee. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 41.